And what's up, everyone, for another awesome night. Happy Thursday. I think it's Thursday. I believe it's
It's still
Thursday.
Thursday. Yes, we're still. I've been up since midnight, Dana.
I just had to stop and think about it for a quick second. But what is up, everyone? We're going to have a nice little fun conversation tonight, talking about some Last of Us. Well, ranting about some Last of Us,
Woo!
and
It's
then
the
talking about
finale.
some
It's
Dead City.
finally over. It's the finale. There's no more Last of Us, folks. This is it. I'm considering this not just the season finale, Dana. The finale.
We made it. We made it, though. We completed it.
That's
We
right.
did
Ellie's
it.
dead. She got shot. The baby's going to grow up without her. It's going to be perfectly fine. They're just fine. It's all good. Tommy's going to help take care of Dee and the baby. Don't worry. It's all worked out.
Well, we're gonna dive into all of it, and as you could tell, my bestie, my ride or die, Scarlet, you're ready to just like
I've
just
tried like to maintain data.
just get it out.
Still trying to
And
maintain.
poor James, our third chair, our co-host, our buddy, is just stuck in the middle of our craziness.
Hang on, wait,
Are you
he's not yet.
excited that
Wait, hang on. Look, watch this. Now
What?
he's legitimately
What?
stuck in
In
the
between?
middle.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about some zombies. Yeah.
zombies?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. I'm
we didn't
excited.
get any in The Last of Us, so I don't know what zombies like they're
We kind
strolling
of
through the
got a
whole
sort
friggin'
of zombie in, you know, well, there was a fake zombie in Dead City.
right. It's like, how are we talking about zombie shows? And it seems like the zombies are like
A no
we're
show.
like squinting to try to find like, oh, I think that's one. I think that's one. Oh no, that's not it.
Right? We got the hella
I
shows to
mean,
talk about tonight. I
right?
mean,
That's
I
why I
don't,
can't
not in
wait
a
till
good
all of us
way
are
per
dead.
se,
Because at
but
least we'll get some zombies when all of us are dead drops. They know how to do some zombies.
I'm
So
more
we'll get
looking
our fill
forward to
then.
what was it, the 28 years later or something like that. Probably it's probably gonna have more zombies in it. The,
Possibly,
the movie.
possibly. But who do we got with us in our wonderful chat before we dive into this crazy shit show of The Last of Us?
We got, of course, Miss Kiwi first and foremost, dropping the links, being the awesome mod that she is, working
Thank
hard.
you.
She will hang out with us later when she gets off work. Well, don't worry, hun. We'll be here. We got Miss Suzanne hanging out with us. And I think this is your first time over at Dana's, perhaps. I know you've been
Well,
over on mine, but
welcome.
welcome over here.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yay.
We got All About Crystals. Welcome, welcome.
And so thank you for joining us tonight. And I appreciate everybody who always comes and hangs out with us. But oh, The Last of Us, guys, where do we even
Well, go ahead and bring
begin
up the
as I pull up?
screenshots. Yeah, just bring
Yes.
them up. Oh my god. We got what? All right. What is the? Let's see. Do we talk about? I hmm. Trying to think of where to dive into because I got a few points that really irritate me, but like just the whole entire thing irritates me. But then there's just like the little shit that really irritates me. Like, all right, we'll talk about Dee first. I like Dee's character. I don't know much about her character in the game, but as far as her character on screen, she actually has a lot more energy and she just seems more likable than perhaps our main chick. But they keep fucking with my girl here and doing stupid shit with her that I don't fucking understand with her character. Like, why in the fuck when Ellie comes back, she's done had this arrow pushed through her leg, she's pregnant, and she looks like she's fucking about to pass out when she's sitting there with her. She's sweating, she's pale, she's pregnant, and Ellie comes in. What does she do? She starts fucking rubbing her back. And don't get me wrong, like Ellie's all in her fucking like deer in headlights type deal that she's always in. I think she'll be all right. Maybe you should be tending to your like to Dee who's pregnant with a fucking leg. Like maybe you should be putting a cold rag on her head, making sure she's got water, so she doesn't fucking die and the baby fucking. What in the fuck are they doing? She's got some bruises and some scratches on her back, and she's rubbing her back down like she's got some fucking serious wounds or something, and she's cleaning her up. What in the fuck? That was just that poor child.
Sorry,
This poor child ain't even came into the world yet, and they already done fucked it all up. Got the fucking dad killed. What the fuck are we doing?
Right.
I know that's part of the story.
Rest
but
in peace, Jesse.
I can't.
Rest in peace, Jesse.
I can't.
You will be missed.
Look,
He was
Ellie's.
the most interesting thing of the show. Sexy
I know
little
it.
man.
Yeah. The Ellie's emotional trauma trumps Dee's leg injury.
And the seriousness that it, danger it puts the possible baby that's growing in her belly.
I know, and like this is when like Ellie just decides to tell her, oh, by the way, the reason why all these people are here to begin with is because Joel just murdered a bunch of people to save me. And one of them happened to be Abby's dad. He's just like unloading like all this stuff. Like
and like
really?
her girl, like if you look at Dee's face during all this, like she's like sweating and they had her like real pale, like her lip color, right? Like it's all, and she's not very pink lipped anymore, right? Like she's about to fucking pass out. Which is great. Like that's not like if you take Ellie out of the picture, just fucking can we like rip her away from the scene and just have the dude there and her not rubbing anybody down, but just talking about like the baby, maybe. And then him tending to her, that would have been a better scene. I don't know what the fuck they were doing.
There was definitely more emotion in the scene between the two of them than there was with Ellie. Like I would so watch a show about them. Like fuck Ellie, fuck that whole shit. Just make it about them.
Right. And go back to Ellie's face there where she's getting rubbed down on her back. What the hell are we supposed to convey from these facial expressions? What emotion am I supposed to, like I said, every other character that is our like sort of a main character, they're emotional, whether or not I like the storyline and where like the story is going with their character, the way they are acting out their scenes, they are actually still conveying emotion in their faces. You know what I'm saying? Like their body language, all that is still tracking like I would expect. She has none. Is it just me? Like I'm serious. I feel like she has no emotional.
She don't. And when Jesse said that about being a father, I thought he was a goner also, but I thought it was going to be by Ellie because you could see Ellie's face like, oh no, bitch. Hell no, I'm the daddy.
Right.
When were they? I don't think I captured that screenshot between them.
But so I take it in the last of the episode, though, that dude's dead. He was shot in the head, right?
Oh, yeah. They made it very clear. The face. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's dead. But then again, with this show, I mean, who the fuck knows? Yeah. He'll come back
and I'm thinking it's probably Dee that did the gunshot at the last instead of Ellie actually getting shot.
Is it?
Oh, I don't know. That's a theory, just a theory.
Oh man, I figured maybe Tommy grabbed her leg or something and she misfires or some shit.
Or Dina hobbles out of nowhere because they are in the theater.
Yeah, that's what James is saying. I don't know, she might. I mean, it's possible the way, and again, that's stupid as fuck. Again, if they do that to her, that just tracks with what I was just saying and how stupid they do her character. What the fuck? She's pregnant with a fucking injury in her leg. She's like her coloration is not fucking accurate. She could pass out any fucking moment. And they killed one of the only guys that was actually trying to fucking get the baby back home in like, one piece.
Right? And was it just me or when Ellie was like, we got to save the Scar kid? And I would have been like, how many dudes? There's how many men with like out there? You go ahead. You gonna be the daddy, right? Go be a man. There you go. Go take him out, Ellie. You can do it.
That whole thing, even up on when they went up in the building and was looking out, the conversation they were having. I mean,
Mhm.
Ellie tried to say, yeah, but this, but it just didn't make really good sense. So it was like, I don't know, just the writing of all of that, just, it was a little bit cringe to me. I mean,
Very cringe. It's the whole episode. The last couple episodes have just been weirdly like really and cringy and slow. And welcome
At
Texas
least,
Mofo and PH at T-Man TV. Welcome, guys.
welcome everybody.
Yeah,
But
we're
can we at least admit the background in these shots look a lot better than they did with the guy looking at like his death scene at the mountains? At
I mean, I
least,
guess they're a little bit better. Yes, them fake ass trees they got right there do look a little better than the bad background they had. I guess
yes.
it's
What's
still
our chat
comparable.
saying?
Look at that damn rock. That's the fakest. I'm sorry. I
what?
honestly, the more y'all have made me look at these fucking sets, the more I've
What?
noticed the fakery. Like,
What?
and like you knows that shit.
That's concrete.
Look, it's worse than the referee in a wrestling match.
What?
I can see all the tricks. It's bad. I tried not to notice because I tried to put that blinder on because I knew what kind of show it was to begin with. Like I can't look at shit too closely, because I'm gonna fuck myself trying to watch it. It's gone now. The filter has been removed, and all this shit's bad.
Wait, are you saying wrestling isn't real?
Shh. It's as real as you want it to be. But that referee's a piece of shit.
I like it.
Referee's a piece of shit. That's all I got to say. If you watch, referee is a piece of shit. But let's see. PH at T-Man TV says, Ellie makes me physically angry. No, I take that back. Bella's face makes me rage out whenever she speaks, pretending to be Ellie. It's just got much going on.
So that would be Fat Man
Yeah.
TV.
Oh, okay. Well, see, thank you. I'm not good at reading people's tags, handles, and shit.
I mean, that's what I see. Maybe.
Now, actually, now that you say that, that makes more sense than what I was saying. And that's why James is here.
Right?
I'm
That's
the
why
middle.
you've earned your spot. You've
I'm the
earned your
middle.
spot, Mr. Walking Dead.
The middle guy. Guy in the middle.
Oh, dang it. Texas says I finally realized Spot. Just like the Ellie actress, she has a dirt face. But she just has a deer in headlights. I mean, I'm sorry. I know they have coaches that help them with stuff like this. So, again, we go back to what we said beginning of season. Is it the writing and like the directing, or is it really just the actors? I don't know. Or a combination of both. I don't know.
By this point, because all the other actors seem to do, like you say, the body language and facial expressions. I mean, why would they tell the main actress, "Hey, don't show any expression whatsoever"?
And I normally I would say yes, I would follow that until they show us, Dee's character. They make a pregnant woman about to pass out rub down the back of a girl who's got some scratches and bruises on her back, and like,
yeah, bad writing.
so it makes me think maybe they're bad directing too. I mean, I don't know. There's
a few things definitely wrong with the show.
I don't know. It makes it hard for me to know who's at fault here.
because think about it. Let's just kind of try to imagine. Ellie was cast as she was. She's doesn't seem like it was a good fit for her or whatever as an actress. But what if the writing was just over the top and we were just like, holy shit, what a great show because of the writing and so in-depth characters and of, talking about everybody else, her acting would still stand out, but it's still possible, I think, with that to have a good show if the writing was good. But the writing isn't good. So you've got that, then you've got that, and then you've got this over here. Then, things just keep adding up with this season 2. Just not good.
And the audacity of the dude to be like, oh yeah, I'm thinking about stretching this out to 4 seasons because we might need 2 seasons to tell the rest of the story. I'm like, you fucking rushed through this whole entire thing. You could have definitely have given us more to this season. You definitely could have given us more to this season and didn't give us anything, Abby, until the next season, if that's how you were going to play it. They
Right.
they totally rushed. I feel like in this final episode, we got more than we did the whole season.
Right. Welcome, how dear. And what is really crazy, Dana, is I joked about them doing like the next season being all Abby and they're gonna do that bullshit. I didn't think they was gonna really do that shit. Like that was a joke, man. It's fucked up. I didn't. We gotta go back today. We gotta go back through all of Seattle again. Well, we don't have. I'm not going to. But they are going to go back through Seattle again. That's fucked.
That's exactly what they are going to do because this is exactly what happened in the game. You played with as Ellie up until this very point, and then the point of the POV switched to Abby, and you played Abby up until another certain point. So that's exactly what they're going to do. We are going to see this whole thing play out all over again up until Abby gets to that moment with Ellie.
And they could have, for this purposes, like, you know, if you're going to adapt it, one of the things that I wouldn't have minded doing in the adaptation here would have had episodes where you combine kind of, if you're going to do that, do them kind of both, you know, like how we wanted them to do the flashbacks, right? In the proper episode, you kind of, each episode, you do a little bit of each one of them. Instead of these long, drawn out bullshit conversations that mean nothing.
Yes. Like they didn't build with some of these characters. Like the stories, I feel like what they gave us, they didn't need to give us. There's like, did we really need to know about the doctor lady and her husband and like all that other stuff? Not really. They could have made Ellie and Joel's beef over 1,000,001 things. She discovered something. Somebody maybe showed up who was a former Firefly and knew what he did. Like it could have been anything to more so bring in Abby's side of it. Like I think it would have been a bigger punch had she heard from like Abby right then, maybe more of what happened compared to her just because he lied about saving the dude. So that made her realize that he lied about like what? It was just very wasted.
Oh, stupid. Really, really stupid. Texas,
And then
no, I'm not. You have fun with season 3.
yeah, and they're making us wait 2 years.
Dude,
Fuck
good luck
you.
on that.
Like people
Like
are
I
so
said,
mad
that's what
now.
I'm saying. It's over. This was it. Woo! Party time, folks. Last was over. That's a wrap. We need the fucking rap thing, Dana. Damn it. That's fucking, we gotta prioritize that shit. I need
Right?
it.
And then we finally like fucking get Tommy. Like finally. After like we like, even her crying. Ugh, like just so disappointing.
There I go. Oh, we
Like
got
just
Tommy. That's right. Oh, praise Jesus. We got Tommy. They showed him all finally. I mean, you know, for a quick second there, I guess he was kind of cool. And that's it. That was it. Tommy's basically about dead.
that's it. There's
Yeah.
their reunion.
That was it.
Yeah, one thing I like about the story, which isn't a good thing in the show or makes it a good show or anything, but and some people have told me they don't like this aspect of it, but you're seeing a small little side story happening as the main story while this big story is going on in the background. The war is happening, kind of thing.
Mhm.
So I kind of like that aspect where you're like stuck in a little bitty part, but there's something much bigger going on around them that you don't ever really see the details specifically. You just learn a little bit as you go.
Well, do we? Kind of.
Not in this story. Not like you should. I'm just saying
okay.
they have it.
I was like, yeah, that sounds really good if they did that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, and some things they have it set up pretty good. This one, you know, the story's there or aspect, but yeah, it's not playing out very good at all. But
yeah, even where they show like they're in here with they're going and they get Ellie and damn it, now I done forgot I can't remember these fuckers' names. Jesse, yeah, and they get caught off guard, you know, and they come in after one of the little religious folks. Like that whole scene, like it was pretty. At first, I was like, "Oh shit!" Because other than Ellie, again, take her little ass out of the scene. had we put anybody else here with him, having to watch that scene go down, it would have been a little bit, at least you would have seen a little bit more emotion with it. Like, she tried. I do get, look, she tried, but it just didn't quite come off as good as it could have came off. And then I was kind of like, well, what the fuck did they throw it in there for? Like, just for them to have this little bullshit beef?
Yes.
Like, that whole thing, like, honestly, if you took out Ellie and their bullshit beef and actually wrote some actual dialogue there, it would have been a cool, because that was brutal. Like, what they were like, dude, did they just come in? I thought they were about to do more brutal shit to him, like, right then and there. I was about to put, I was like, oh, shit. I was like, oh, and then it was nothing. It was this. I was like, well, what the fuck did it was? And then they did it to us again, right? Like, later on, well, like, when she's going after Abby and her boat fucking goes all the fucking huge ass wave. I was like, ha ha, she fucking wave, got your ass, bitch. And she's all over, and they captured her ass. I'm like, oh shit, she got captured. I'm like, oh wait, the war's going on. Oh, this is gonna be bullshit. And what happened? It was fucking bullshit. This
little girl was badass though. What she said to the adult, yeah, gutter. I was like,
well,
oh,
like, this was cool,
girls.
right? Like, everybody else in the scene, this was all cool. This was kind of badass. But then when all the stuff that had to do with Ellie, though, with it, made it fall so fucking flat. And then they didn't even do anything. Like, what was the point of her landing here? What was the point of this scene here? Her landing here, for her to go right back to Abby, and what, just so that we know that the war between the two factions is starting?
Yeah, didn't something like that happen in the game though? Also,
I don't know. It just made me, because it just, I didn't understand I just didn't understand the moment.
It does, but she learns a whole lot more information about what's going on. And it's a big sequence of you escaping from them. I don't remember if at the same time the wolves attack them, but I know she like gets like captured by them, is about to die and everything, and then your whole thing is to escape.
yeah, it was kind of weird that they just dropped her and didn't kill her and like slit her throat and go or something. You know, like it just seems weird that they left her alive so easy.
Yeah, they was like, leave her.
Yeah, like
I was like, oh, all right,
because they didn't know if she was wolf or not, even though she was screaming, "I'm not a wolf, I'm not a wolf." Well, you know,
yep,
anybody could scream that.
it is. It's just, and then when she like confronts these two guys, I was just like, this is like they left out. This doesn't like happen. It's so they're changing things, and I don't even know. It's all a mess.
Yeah, it was sad, you know, her being pregnant and
Right?
one shot, man, one shot got them both.
Yeah, got her right in the neck, right in the carotid. What are the
Yeah,
odds?
I couldn't even understand. Again, I mean, some of these scenes, was this in the game? Because some of the stuff's like, you're saying it's in the game, and I'm like, man,
Yes.
is this how it went down? Because there's some fucker that shit, some of these scenes don't make sense. Like, I don't see the purpose of the scene sometimes.
It is a while before Ellie finds out that the doctor was Abby's father. That's a big reveal in the game at way down the line. I don't know why they did it first for the show, but the whole sequence of how she learns bits and pieces and has like she basically kills all of Abby's friends before she gets to that scene with Abby in the movie theater. Like
Right.
that's like the big like reveal shebang before the game turns around and makes you play as Abby.
Huh.
So I like the whole sequence of events. I don't know. And then as you play as Abby, you do see all these other people's point of view, like as themselves. So you do learn a little bit more about these two, which I'm
Okay.
assuming we're going to learn more if they're doing it in season 3, which I don't care at that point, but that's probably when you're going to learn about all these people.
Okay. What's up, Patrick? Welcome, hun.
What's up, Patrick?
Well, I said,
It's
what's
just
going on, man? I don't know. It's just weird. I just didn't. And then this is like, I don't know. I guess I understand why she was upset about the baby, but then she didn't. I don't know, man. She seemed pretty ballsy to do a lot of stuff. I thought she was going to actually cut the baby out. And then she
I did
didn't.
too. That part is not from the game. The lady does not ask Ellie in the game to take out her baby, I believe. I don't believe that is from the game because in the game, this chick actually ends up attacking her and she ends up accidentally stabbing her in the throat.
Okay, and they try to make her out to be like Miss Innocent. She was not. It's like she was going to give up the goods.
Yeah, no, she straight up she in the game she attacks Ellie after she kills that dude. After she kills this dude, she does end up going after her, and she is pregnant. But she doesn't ask Ellie to like, please come here, take out the baby. She doesn't do nothing like that. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I might be wrong, but I don't think that happens in the game. She does get upset when she finds out that she's pregnant. Like she does get upset in the game, but I don't believe the lady asked her to cut out her baby.
Yeah, it's just
It
so hard. I don't know. There's just something weird going on. I just can't. Like it's something about the scene. I didn't like any of the scenes, so I don't know. Maybe it was the dialogue. I'm trying to remember what it was that pissed me off in particular. But
and that's not even the real final like fight between Abby and Ellie. Like we go through a whole more bunch of shit before you finally get to the very end and it's the real like showdown between these two. So that's not
right,
even like the real fucking hurrah, so to speak.
it's
So
definitely interesting to say the least.
what's the
All right,
chat saying?
let's see.
Are they
Well, they're saying
complaining just as
hello. Let's
much?
see. Texas says he was talking about one of the
Yeah.
scenes we were talking about, like it was in the game. I think he's talking about the one where they were out, where Ellie was in the woods with the religious folks. Says more of it was
Oh,
in the game.
yes, there was a lot more of it.
Says reasons. I say what? Yeah, what that scene wasn't in the game. Reasons why Abby went after Ellie. Wait, no. Did I miss? Okay, well, which scene then? I'm sorry. Oh, y'all are. Fuck. I'm so lost. I think he's one of the writers in The Last of Us. That's why you're ready for season 3. See, yes, he is. There it is. Yeah, I got a yeah and a yes. I don't know what the no is there. So, all right, there we go. He is the writer in season 3. That's why he's been promoting it. I figured it out. That's why he loves Ellie so much. Her character. He directed those facial expressions. He said maybe. He is an
Oh no,
executive
so
producer. See?
but look, just she in every scene, she just looks she has like and I don't know, it's like, did we not see this in Game of Thrones because her scenes were so like minuscule compared to being the quote unquote lead that
Right.
the little girl she allegedly played, Mormont, she was that kind of stone cold face, badass, I have no emotion type of character.
Right.
But that's not what Ellie is.
Oh,
Ellie still does have a range of emotion.
right. Takes the Boko says dirt.
Oh my God, the memes. I can't
Dirt,
take it with
dirt,
the
dirt,
memes.
dirt, dirt,
They,
dirt,
they,
dirt,
I laugh so hard. I don't like
dirt.
keep your 2 years. I do not see them. I,
I'm trying
I
to.
would
What
see
else
them getting
happened in
canceled.
this
If
damn
they honestly
episode?
thinking they're going to make people wait 2 years, I wouldn't be surprised if they got canceled.
What's up, Han? Welcome, hun. She was young and one note in Game of Thrones. There you go. What else happened in this episode? I'm trying to remember. So They rendezvous back. Yeah, she goes back. She does her whole back rubbing thing, and then shit. What the fuck else happens?
Nothing. She like then like reveals to Jesse in their little like walk. Oh, you guessed she was pregnant? Oh, my bad. Like, oh,
Well, yeah, she wouldn't take alcohol, and she had a fucking. Oh my god.
and it's
Like
like,
really, the girl that
where's
was
Ellie being
knocking her
like,
back, it fucking or what was it? New Year's.
I
When
was
she
I
said
was
she was
waiting.
drunk, she was drinking.
I was waiting when Jesse was like, I'm gonna be a dad. I was waiting for Ellie to say me too.
And Patrick said she was ass in Game of Thrones.
I was waiting for her to be like, we're both gonna be dads.
Oh god, no. Oh, don't give them ideas, Dana. They'll bring you back to life just for that
Like,
moment.
like when he's like, I'm gonna be a dad. Ellie was just like stone cold quiet. Like, what happened?
Look
She
at
was
that
just up
face.
there. You was just up there saying you gonna be a daddy, Ellie. What's going on?
All right, now let's compare. Look, this is good right here. This is a good shot right here. All right, zoom in on her face. Go in there. All right, see that face? Look at the emotion in that face. Now, zoom out and look at our boy here. How can he have more emotion than her? This is bullshit. She has none. And they're just fucking trotting. Like, it ain't even like that serious. Like, it's serious, but like that shot is not. He has like a more serious and like kind of like, there's nothing on her face.
But then it's like, okay, I'm still a little curious. They're in a city. They're in what was a major city. Where are all the fucking monsters? Like, it's a major city. There's nothing around in fucking Seattle. Like,
No,
no
there is.
hordes, no herds,
It's in that little middle
no.
area. Remember? Somehow they contained them into that little square blockage that they were talking about that one time, where they found the little sneaky bastards. Remember they talked about it, and
Oh,
then the spores are underneath, so there's no worries. They're only underneath the hospital, nowhere else. And they mapped it out for us. Remember they explained it all to us, Dana.
okay, maybe they did, but it still
No, it
irritates
doesn't
me.
make any
I'm
damn
like,
sense because you can't contain them inside of this fucking little area like a building. That doesn't. They would. It didn't make sense, Dana. Was my point.
so I don't know. And then I'm sorry, when after Ellie fucking like comes in the first fucking time, after like their whole shit, she was just in the underground with spores all over her. Yeah, it was raining, but what are the odds that it washed everything away and there's not some shit in her hair? Shit, like
I mean, we
she
don't
just
know how the
strolls on in,
spores
goes up
work.
to.
We don't even know how this version of spores works. Like you're right. What the? She went straight for her too. Like beelined it. I gotta go get all up on my girl.
To get all touchy and she could have shit in her. Bad. I don't know.
Got open
That was
wounds
another
and
thing
shit
that
going
bothered me.
on and shit. Like what the fuck?
So,
And there's that face again. Wait, hang on. Where was it? Hang on, Texas. There you go. There. Also dirt. Yeah, dirt.
oh no.
Under the fingernails, right? Get back.
No, like,
Nah, man. Look,
oh no,
I
this.
didn't want to be mean, but at this point, it's just there is no emotion, and it really is sad because there were parts of the show that could have at least been decent enough to pass. Like I would have
Mhm.
watched the third season. But I can't.
Yeah. Like I was saying, watching Ellie, the character in the video game, when I did watch the gameplay, didn't annoy the shit out of me. Ellie TV version annoys the shit out of me. I don't know. I don't know how you could do that. I don't know how that's possible.
I never know what I'm supposed to feel with Ellie. Every other character has some sort of emotion. I don't know if it's the makeup, what the fuck ever they're doing with their characters. I kind of get the vibe of what they're feeling. I don't get it with
Even
Ellie.
Dina, even Dina, looking like she's about to fucking pass out
Right?
from like excruciating fucking pain. You could actually see that. And it's Ellie. I don't know. James, you have anything good to say?
Nothing good. Nope.
Any positives?
Nope. Sorry.
Well,
Oh my
Tommy,
God.
when he showed
And
up, he did look pretty cool. I mean, Tommy's cool, but then they didn't give us much of him. We got to hear about him on the radio a little bit, though. Right? Like he was just being ballsy as fuck.
oh yeah, being his old sniper self.
And just all of a sudden now Tommy's popping off, yo. What's up?
Right?
Tommy's here. All of a sudden he's just popping fucking. It pissed me off. And I ain't gonna
Yeah.
lie, I thought
Like,
they killed him when like she come around the corner and he was on the ground because I saw like was it Jesse or whatever first. I was like, oh god, she done killed both of them. I was like, oh god, they killed both the dudes. I didn't mean it. I mean, I knew y'all was gonna kill off the guys, but I didn't fucking think you was really gonna do it. We was joking. Damn it. And then I seen he was still kind of alive. I was like, oh, okay. Tommy's still alive. We're okay. Maybe.
but poor Jesse. Poor Jesse. Like, poor dude. Poor dude. It was sad even in the game, but rest in peace, Jesse.
He didn't even get to have a proper conversation with the
Right?
mother of his child.
I guess if you got to go out though, instant is better than suffering.
So who are we
Okay,
supposed to
maybe.
hate more, Ellie or Abby? Because
What's the question?
I kind of feel like this is all Ellie's fault.
Eh, that that is kind of the point. Like, how much of it, it all started with Joel
Well,
because
no, like
Joel
in
killed.
particular, the way like they have told this story and the way that Ellie is in this story, I just feel like it's her fault. Like
No, they very much try to get you to empathize with
no, I
Abby.
don't
They,
empathize with Abby. I just don't
but
like
what is
that.
it? The cycle of violence.
No,
Like,
it's not even
where
that.
does it
It's just
end?
that Ellie in this version sucks so bad that when she went to shoot her, I was happy.
And
No, like you
she's
gotta
like, "Bitch,
understand that like it's
I let you live. I let you live."
because I'm not mad that Ellie went after and killed the friends. I'm not so upset about that. I assume that's what they went there for. It's all the other bullshit where she basically like the way this shit went down was very stupid, and she had no like she give a shit about the baby. I just can't get over the baby situation. I don't know why, but that has irritated me for the last couple episodes. And then to see how this
Yeah,
shit's gone down in this episode, I'm just like, what the fuck?
that very much does not happen in the video game. Dina is sidelined like in the way beginning. She does start the journey, but then once Ellie finds out that she's pregnant, she's like, "No, you're not. You stay here. You don't do nothing." I don't know why they changed that because she went to do all that with Tommy. Like, Tommy was with her to do all that, not Dina. Or it was Jesse. It was them two. Dina was like definitely sidelined, and I feel like they finally did that with the arrow. Like, that's what the arrow was supposed to do, but she wasn't even supposed to get that far.
Right? And then she shouldn't have been hurt like that. I felt like her injury was stupid. And then I still can't get why are you're about to pass out and you're rubbing down your girl's back so y'all can have some emotional conversation? You need rest. Hell, even
Mhm.
Ellie, fine, fuck it, Ellie needs rest. Fucking go to sleep. But could we not have the pregnant woman like aiding Ellie at this moment? I can't get over to the point to where it's just like it irritates me with even Ellie because like Ellie came in, she burst into the room, right? Or didn't burst into the room, but she comes into the room all frazzled and shit, and her first concern was to go straight to D. Like she was concerned about her, right? What the fuck is this? That didn't look like she was very concerned with her. It looked like she was concerned with herself. So I just didn't, again, from scene to scene, and then it's just the actions of Ellie piss me off all the time. I can't tell which ones of Ellie's actions are like game actions that are supposed to be part of the story, and which ones are just things that just piss me off. Anytime, James, you can cut me off anytime and say whatever you need.
I'm just happy that you'll be watching season 3, episode 1, and then letting me know if it's worth a crap.
I ain't watching the goddamn thing. You lie. You liar.
I don't know. Like, and just to announce that he has the nerve to want to push this thing 4 seasons, I'm just like, why? Why? Why?
What's up, Bill? Chill.
What's up, Bill? I don't know. This is just. They could have definitely have given us more with some of the infected, and I don't know. I feel like we got the big scene from the fight in the town, and that was like they were basically like, "There's your fill," and then
Yeah.
like the spores. And they were like, "That's all we're going to give you. That's all the budget can." We blew our budget in that big battle, so don't expect anything else after that in the spores. You had to make your decision, right? You wanted us to give you the spores, so we gave you the spores, but that meant you got nothing else. You wasted it. You blew it. You
I'm
blew
sorry.
it.
I just Texas Mofo says, but that scene pleased a certain demographic. So, and I can understand pleasing a certain demographic as far as, you know, two girls in love and all that kind of stuff. What is pleasing about seeing a girl who's pregnant, who's sweating, pale faced, and about to pass out, rubbing down the back of another female with that deer in the headlights? Look, she doesn't even look like she's in like fucking La La Land, because now she's all in her own mental bullshit. Where was the fantasy and the pleasing in this? I missed something. This was the worst of all of their moments together. Out of all of their cringe moments, this was
Oh no.
seemingly one of the worst, if not the worst.
They literally took out all of Tommy's part to give more of that. And I get it if it's a box check, if it's a let's just see who we could piss. Like, I don't care. It had nothing, it didn't make your story better. So if you're going to do that sort of shit, at least make the story better. Because if the story's better, people aren't going to bitch. They're bitching about it because you're doing stuff like this and then making the stories even fucking worse. So it's adding fuel to the fire.
Right.
You're only irritating people more by doing shit like this. And it's like, I don't understand what's wrong with people. Like, I was even telling you today, people are losing their minds. Why? Because this new Harry Potter thing is coming out, and they're making all these changes to it, and the show hasn't even been filmed yet. They just put out casting, and already people are losing their minds. And
That
don't
reminds
tell
me of
me
like
that
the Snow White movie and stuff. Like, people fucking, like, it didn't even come out. It didn't even get trailers at first. People were just bitching about it before anything even came out. Like,
because you're not making the story better. If you
I
make
know,
a better story,
they're
people will forget
butchering.
about certain things.
And what's so
Like
bad is,
they'll
like, some of these stories,
oh,
particularly like older stories, right? Like, even but Snow White, since I brought it up, Snow White and its original story and all that has been told probably a million times in a million different TV versions or movie versions. Not just Disney. I've seen knockoff versions. I'll call them knockoff versions, whatever.
yeah.
And they're usually pretty much all the same. There's the variations are usually like very small, or there might be a little comedy
Mhm.
aspect added to it, but the core of the story is usually there. They don't even truly change too much about the ethnicity of the characters or the gender of the characters and things like that. Like, all of these stories that I've seen since I was a kid, and all their different variations, right? Hardly do you ever see stuff like that go down in a story that's a fairy tale, even, right? But now it's like it's a thing where it has to be done. And that's where, to me, the problem. If you're having to change it just because, like, there's no real reason, just do it just because there's no meaning behind it. So then you're just doing it to check your box. And that's when you get in these problems. And everybody sees it. So why do you have to do that? Because it's stories, and these stories, like, have been retold. Maybe not this one in particular, but there's so many of these movies or TV shows that they've done over and over again from books and stuff like that are just old tales and just old stories. But why now do we have to change them in this regard? And it obviously is not pleasing enough people for it to be profitable, which is what I thought the corporations were in for, which baffles me. Because you're not fooling anybody. So if it was for propaganda, propaganda is not completely working anymore because the tides are changing.
How many times do these movie people and TV show people and all this stuff, how many times are you going to fail until you finally are like, how do we stop failing? I don't know.
I think it's, a lot of the producers, executive producers, and such that are funding a lot of these projects that have the say so, not just a say so, but a lot of times the say so, push some of the agendas sometimes. And they don't, I think in the long run, some of them don't care if the reaction, like the show didn't make money or whatever kind of thing. They just want their agenda pushed. And it's out there. The mission accomplished. Did it make money? Who cares? And I almost feel like that's the case sometimes because, like you guys were saying, it almost seems like how many times do they need to fail before they realize? And I don't think that's part of the game of realizing it,
Right. But it feels like the tides are changing, though, to a degree, because, like, some of this stuff people like are just going to stop going to watch altogether. It's not going to just, like, kids aren't going to go watch it because parents aren't going to, like, fund it. At some point, like, if we're no longer because I'm not going to watch the next season of this, and I'm start being real stern about that. I'm honestly
probably not either.
And I haven't even watched a lot of movies lately. So, like, if nobody's watching it, then again, what's the point? Like, it's out there, but if nobody's paying attention to it anymore, like, I get, like, there was a point where, they were probably really pushing it. There was a generation that pushing it on, but I think the tides I'm hoping the tides are changing with that, and that it's not just the money, but, like, realize that people are just not going to tune in at all anymore.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to start paying attention because the studios and these people that we're kind of talking about, the executive producer types, they're in the system that is still pretty much the old system as far as Hollywood goes, and all that shit is on the change big time because, like, just I don't know if you watch the news as far as AI tech type stuff, but another version, another upgrade was just released, and boom, now you can do AI video and sound at the same time. Used to, you could just do the video and you do the sound somewhere else. But now you can say, give me a zombie scene, and it'll have the audio, it'll have the background noise, it'll have the zombies growling, it'll have everything in the scene audio-wise you need. And it looks pretty damn good. So, the studios are about to get, because I think with this, there's several companies out there doing it, but this one, for an example, I think it's $255 a month or something like that to subscribe and use it. But someone can make The Last of Us TV series with just $255 a month. It might take them 3 or 4 months, but they've just spent just a couple $1,000s, where the real series spent millions, and, put it out on YouTube. They couldn't, if they did their own original story, they get 100% of the profits of anything. But
that does open up the independent market a little bit.
Yeah, and it's hard to see.
It's probably going to be more enjoyable.
And it's almost hard to see that you're ever going to have something like a Titanic again, because we don't just have a limited distribution.
Right.
We have so much stuff, so much content, and now the independent side is about to be just as big and just as good.
And with platforms out there for independent
Yeah.
creators to be able to post stuff on and get their stuff out there. I know there's even musicians now that they don't even go through a label anymore. They go through YouTube and
Yeah,
other like
sure.
stuff like that. So like they produce it all themselves, do their own videos, and then and if you're good at it and you can hustle that, then you've cut out a lot of the shit that the industries have been kind of holding hostage for a long time. Now, of course, it comes with a lot of risk and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
man, if
I
you can
think
do it,
is it
then
All American Rejects? Maybe I'm thinking is the band that they're like screw Ticketmaster and they're just having concert at people's houses and shit. So it's like a lot of people are like screw the system, and it's a lot of different systems. The music industry, Hollywood, these types of bad writers of
right, because
shows
they
like
take
this.
stuff from like we'll have a creator, right? Whoever that original creator is, and whether or not that and I can't speak for every adaptation or every work, but it seems like the studios always do this to the creator where they take that and they tweak it or do whatever they want with it to fit what they want as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to what the creator intended it to be.
Mhm.
And so I'm hoping that maybe with this, then now the creators are back to having more of that control and you get back to actually, and not everything's going to be great, but maybe we will get some better stuff out
Yeah.
there. Now you're going to have to look for it. It's not going to, it may not be on demand, right?
Right.
You have to go back to trying to find them this, and that's where the social media comes in, Discord, stuff like that. People can post and kind of get the word out like, hey, go check this out here, go check this out there.
Right.
And people do, I mean, that's where some of the younger generation is looking at stuff. So
Yeah.
Reddit, all that. I
Sure.
mean, I don't know if Reddit's actually still as popular. I'm probably sound old even saying
Yeah.
Reddit. What is the
No,
new thing?
you know what it honestly does? It honestly it makes people like me who has a piece of written work very scared and a little more maybe knowledgeable if I'm saying the word right, have more knowledge of what not to do, because you've seen people like Kirkman, you've seen people, who are these creators, like the Martin guy with Game of Thrones. They get into these contracts and they lose their creative rights to this stuff, allowing these companies to make these changes, to where if creators maybe had more of their rights and say in their works, that stuff like this is not going to happen.
Well,
Yeah.
and this one's particularly unique though, because I think the creator, I don't know, it's just a complete dumpster fire.
Yes, this is like the fucking of course reverse of that shit, to where the creator was involved and basically said,
Mhm.
I'm using this show to do more of the stuff I couldn't do in the game. So
But
this
this was just
Last of Us
this
is,
is like one of those
the
outliner
creator
weird
is just
cases,
stupid.
dumpster fire cases that doesn't fit any of the day. It's just it's an outliner. It doesn't fit in the data
Because
properly.
even like the stuff we're hearing with Harry Potter, like that is one thing I know J.K. Rowling's was an advocate about, was casting in the Harry Potter movies. Like she made sure, like she was in the process and doing all this. Like I'm like, this does not seem like something J.K. Rowling's would be okay with, the drastic change that they're making to these two characters. And you know, and I I don't know, like, do you just say, oh, that makes us whatever and anti something because we don't like, I'm no, I just think that people should stay true to source material. Like when it comes to characters, when it comes to lore, when it comes to stuff like that, I get making little changes or adding a character that maybe isn't from the books that you could have your freedom with, like what Daryl was in The Walking Dead. They could have done whatever they wanted to do with that character. It was their character to do that with. So if they wanted to make changes, they primarily use that, Neo, that X factor, and still just add him to the story, but still tell a different story through him, like, you know what I mean? To
Mm-hmm.
just change certain source materials, I don't understand. I will never understand.
So I wonder if that'll still be an issue, even like we were talking about with the AI and independent creator stuff as far as casting. So for an example, in the future, it'll be with music as well. Let's say I want to do the soundtrack to my movie. Let's say somebody like lead singer of the Rolling Stones or somebody like that, approved for this company, and there's always already companies out there like this, to sell his voice digitally, like they made an AI copy of it. So I can write a song even, or have AI write the song, and it's him singing it, and I just pay a license fee to that company to use that voice. So I've got a damn good soundtrack going for me. Now let me go into this AI subscription that I pay a lot for, but it's going to give me the series that I want. Okay, but I have to cast that series. So just like the music, somebody like Tom Hanks, somebody like even a dead actor, if somebody owns the rights to that person, may be able to digitize it and sell it or whatever. And I just pay a licensing fee for those actors. And it could be a top A-list line of actors in my little movie that I made in my underwear at home in the middle of the night, right? For just, maybe a few $1,000s if you add in the license fees and stuff like that. But I'm still casting it, right? So if I choose a Mexican guy as my sidekick, are people going to say, oh, that guy, especially if I'm adapting a book or something like that, I mean, I think we're still going to run into those type of issues, maybe, no matter how the making it changes,
I don't
it is
know.
like it's I don't know how that's I just can't take it, because I just can't take it.
I mean, not like I said, not everything, no matter where we go in the future, is going to be perfect, whether it's indie or the big corporations and stuff like that. I'm hoping that when the people who are sort of the real artists in whatever trade that is, that when they have the tools and sort of the flexibility to create a little bit more, that those works will kind of boom and come out, and those will be kind of the great works of their time. And then of course you're still going to have sort of the bullshit. It just feels like we don't have enough good anymore, like that one, oh man, that was such a great show, like everybody's going to enjoy, or at least who enjoy that genre. You need a few great works, right? That's why they're great works. You don't have to have a lot of them. You just gotta have a few of them. When you get you feel like you don't get any, that's when it's a problem. So hopefully the real creators will be able to, an artist or however you want to put it, will be able to create the content that people really enjoy.
And keep their rights to it, and have somewhat of a say. Because it seems like, here we go, Game of Thrones for the example, they got through all of the written work, and now we're just like, well, we still have to write a story because we're still on air, and the guy hasn't come out with his book yet, so we have to do something. We got to give him something. And what they gave people, everybody hated, or should we say more people hated than liked it. So
and one thing they could do a little better is if they're going to do an adaptation, and again, this one's an outliner, so I don't really want to use this one as an example, but if you're going to do an adaptation and you're going to change so much of the origin, like the character's origin, their kind of like essence, the storyline of whatever it is, then you can still call it like whatever it is, but
call it fan fiction.
Right. Or, whoever's version of this, right? Because then that way, at least as fans, we know, okay, well, we can take this sort of outside of the context of the original story to a degree. They're using it sort of as a base. And I know people say, well, that's what an adaptation is. Like, yes and no, somehow, I don't know. I mean, because they said they strive for these things to be sort of accurate to source material until they fuck up source material and piss off the fans, and then they're like, oh no, it was kind of like supposed to be a little different. It was our own version. I'm like, well, is it or isn't it? Because there are things out there that are so and so's version of this, and this doesn't say that. So you gotta, if you're gonna do that, that's fine. I think we said it before. There's several versions of Batman. That's fine. Not everybody's gonna like every version. They'll have their favorites, and you can kind of compare and contrast, and that's great. But it's really hard when you're like, no, they're supposed to be kind of the same, but they're not the same. But just kind of don't look here. You gotta look over there. Like, what the fuck?
I watched one little interview on YouTube with a game guy talking about this season and plans for next season and stuff. And I barely could it was just a short video, but I barely could get through it because he seemed so happy. So this is the greatest shit ever, y'all, while he was talking. And I'm just like, wow.
We watched the same thing.
He's thoroughly enjoying this. He is thoroughly enjoying this. But from what we know, Kirkman wasn't enjoying it. Fucking Martin wasn't enjoying it. And if the guy who wrote The Wheel of Time was alive, I bet you he wouldn't be enjoying it. And neither would Tolkien with what they're doing with their fucking shit. So do we say The Last of Us is the wrong type of example? Because it was a source material that people pretty much didn't like half of it to begin with, and you're pushing it on them again and expecting a different reaction because it's now a live action. Your first game, people praised, and you got awards for it, and people love it. And it was a great fucking game and story. His part 1 was amazing. And then he made people wait, like he's doing for this, making them wait 2 years. I think people waited 4 years or even longer than that for the second part of the video game. And then when they got it, they were all like, what the fuck is this bullshit? Because by then he had this agenda of wanting people to understand the cycle of, he wanted to pander. And that's what I think people don't like. They don't want to watch this shit and be pandered to. They don't want to learn some fucking lesson that they're supposed to take in real life and make you mad. That's not what people watch TV for. That's not what people go to movies for. They want to escape all the bullshit that happens in their real life. Like that's might be the one time they could sit down and get away, and they don't want to see that shit. And they're not understanding it. And I know people might disagree with me, but they don't want to be fucking pandered to.
The biggest thing is people's time. I mean, for me, that's a huge thing. Like I said, I've got a list of stuff to watch that would take until I died if I went through it all. I'll never be able to watch the stuff I want to watch, much less everything else or rewatch anything. So if I just watched an 8-hour series and it was the stupidest shit I ever saw in my life, you just made a waste of time, man. You wasted my time.
Pretty much.
I hate people waste my time, and I hate to feel stupid. And after this, I felt like my time was wasted, and I feel stupid.
Right. I hate that too.
Stop fucking checking boxes and make a fucking good show. Make a good story. And then nobody's going to give a fuck what boxes you check, because they're going to be like, that was a good fucking show. And none of it's going to matter. None of it's going to matter. But because everybody's so fucking worried about checking these fucking boxes, that it's like everything else is just obsolete nowadays. The story, the whatever. And it's just, and this is the perfect example of it. This is the perfect example of it. And I feel like we're in a time to where people are now fed up. They've had years of this like going on, and now people are finally turning away from it and just being like, fuck this. And that's why I think also Asian cinema has blown up so much, and Asian TV shows, because they don't do that. That is their culture. The things you see in some of these shows, that's really their culture. And yeah, it might be third world to you, or the way women are treated and how certain stuff might go down, but that's still their culture. And they're still staying true to certain to adaptations and telling stories, they're giving you good stories. And that's something we can learn from. And it's like I could literally name you right now at least 10 shows from either Korea, Japan, from certain places that I'd be like, I'm waiting for the new season to come out. I would recommend people to watch. You ask me about shows that we've produced and stuff, I can maybe tell you 10 shows that I've disliked. So I, that's just how I feel. That was my rant.
Right. No, it's pretty derp. Derp, 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 derp. As Texas called it. Yeah, you pretty much called it Texas. Yeah,
Like
I'm out of energy with this. There's nothing else. I don't have. There's nothing.
I don't know how we're going to talk about The Walking Dead now.
Oh my god! But The Walking Dead, we did find out some things, some interesting things. Yeah, all the zombies aren't zombies. How about that shit? I mean, we wondered what the fuck was up with it. I mean, this shit wasn't normal behavior, but you know,
it was a scam. It was a scam.
Well, dude was kind of slimy as fuck, so you know, he was an asshole. I did kind of like though a little bit of play between everybody there, but yeah, no zombies. I mean,
No.
I'm sorry, one zombie that was greased up. We got one greasy zombie.
Before we get started with Walking Dead, I must claim, so I don't get a copyright strike, James, I once again took screenshots from you, so please do not copy strike my thing. I did not have access.
Oh, you just wait.
Episode.
You just wait.
So these screenshots are technically courtesy of our awesome, amazing co-host James from the channel The Walking Dead Explained. If you're not following, follow it, because it's awesome. So I just wanted to put that out there. Disclaimer.
Yay.
Disclaimer.
Yay.
Disclaimer, so I can't get in trouble. Fair use, James. Fair use.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm at the point now to just kind of go with a lot of stuff, you know, and not try to just bitch about every little thing. The writing is still a little awkward in the show, but the one thing about this episode that really got to me is they show a scene where Bruegel shows off the painting of George Washington. That's my favorite. And oh, look how I've got it displayed here in this room so elegantly. And oh, it's my favorite. And oh, it's so great. And all of this kind of stuff. And then out of the blue, it catches on fire and he kind of screams and hollers for a second, but then it's like he totally forgets about it. He doesn't go, who did this? Was it some of my people? If it is, I'll find them. But was it some of your people? If it is, we need to get this shit straightened out. You know, it's like.
Well, no, it was the candle. It fell over.
It didn't just on its own. Maggie pushed it over for the distraction.
We got to get you a new set of filters.
It was magic.
It was, the wind blew in, the mirrors hit something just right. It got knocked over.
Right. I'm just saying.
Little fairy pushed it over. You never know.
Questions, remember?
I know. I'm just saying, if I was in the writer's room and somebody said we need to write a way for Maggie to do a distraction to be able to get in there or whatever, and somebody said this, I would have to say that's kind of stupid if you don't follow up with what you're setting up. But I don't know. That was just me. I
thought it was stupid too, but I was just like, oh, the
James, rant. You go ahead. You rant.
Like he seemed as if he was satisfied with it. Oh, it's like the candlesticks just fell over.
Yeah. And it looks like Maggie's ploy worked. You know, that's what he thought, and everything's cool.
Yeah, it's fine. Everybody's getting along just fine. We had a nice dinner and a show.
A show.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's talk about the zombie in the room. I was like, when I'm watching that, I'm like, that motherfucker. Like,
What was
really?
interesting though, right? Because our dude was calling him out for and what he thought was possibly like them pumping them with some kind of drugs or something to make them react a certain way. I was like, oh shit, they doing that kind of stuff. I was like, all right, Frankenstein indeed. But then it was like, no, he's a fucking real dude. Oh shit.
Yeah, and it's funny because that's what they're doing in Daryl Dixon's series is injecting them with stuff. So it was kind of a play on that a little bit, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, but again, I'm sorry. I want this chick. I can't wait till she. I want her to die so bad. Leave that little girl alone. Leave
I know
that little girl alone.
she's trying to corrupt her. Well, she already corrupted, but she's trying to like, you just come over to our side with the law. We don't allow
Right?
murders. It's fine. You could do it in the name of the
Right?
law. What's up,
Fucking, I
Keely?
can't. I can't wait. Just kill her. Just kill her or make it hurt. Just make it friggin' hurt.
How the hell? I
Like,
mean, how
oh, it
did
just
she really know she had the gun though? I mean, I know the girl was acting weird, but did anybody tell her?
right.
They get that part.
Just
And
takes
yeah,
her
they had a
bag and starts to like look through shit.
yes, they were eating a rat and a carrot. A hell of a dinner.
I was just, hey, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta
Whoa, language, Dana.
do. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm still loving the how they're making New York look, and I
Well, yeah, I mean, I like him. He's a great actor. So I mean, even though I don't always like the show,
I'm,
I like when he's around. She's a little sneaky
I'm trying
bitch.
so hard to not be biased. Like I'm really trying so hard, but I'm just like, oh, this writing. Like her, like you said, James, like his family could be dead. Like we really don't know. And like Negan is just, I guess, like we had to deal with bitch Rick. I guess we got to deal with bitch Negan.
He's trying though, doing what he can. And she's a little bitch
Like,
now. I'm waiting for her head to be cut. But we did learn about her that she's from
yes,
old New York until she bit somebody or some their ear. What the hell did she bite? They say she
there's,
bit someone.
Yeah.
yeah, she was like a what, like a Broadway showy person.
Did she bite Tyson?
Yeah, she critiqued them, I guess, wrote something in the paper.
She owned the city then. Now she owns it again.
I'm still like, but she's still
Yeah,
an
she
old
was a
lady.
critic.
Nobody's killed her yet.
So regularly, she was a critic.
I'm like, what the hell? How does this old woman friggin' survive like this? I'm like, come on. Little nerd boy could probably fucking take her out.
It was interesting because she didn't seem like her reaction to him telling it was interesting. Because it's at first I was like, oh shit, she's gonna kill you, bro. But then she didn't.
I was thinking that too, but
So I was like, so is she like, was she actually into it, like reminiscent? I could. She's kind of creepy, so I couldn't tell if she was into it or not. She kind of scares me a little bit because I can never tell if she's getting ready to cut you or like she's happy with you. So yeah, he might want to be careful. I don't know, man. He's talking a lot. What do you think, James? Is she gonna kill you?
Very possibly, but I think she is enjoying getting something written down also.
yes. I think she got off a little bit on hearing her story.
Yeah.
Oh no, she's still just like an old woman. Like, really, people? Really, Negan? Really?
Yeah.
Like,
But
come on. I with
is
family, I get it, but oh,
Yeah,
come
it's
on.
her
you
family.
can kind of see like Negan was the same way. He was just one dude, and Simon, one character, did try to take him out at one point, but nobody ever really challenged him, and nobody challenges her. And it's kind of that villain stereotype that rises to the top because they keep chaos under wraps, and if they were out of the picture, chaos would ensue. So it's something about power and being in charge. Like the Negan thing was more of an intimidation, and I guess with everything that she can do, she manipulation, intimidation, stuff like Negan's family. she just has enough of those things in play to keep it afloat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they want order to a degree. Whatever that order is.
She's just in charge of the Croat gang. You've got Bruegel's gang, and then the
but they kind of all
gang.
like having like that though, because it's all sectioned off, and it's still somewhat, even though it's not law order, there's still sort of an order between everybody.
Yeah, and Bruegel's group is the biggest one out of the three, with Dama's in the middle, I think, and then Christoph has a small group.
And now she's pretty much got herself lined up to, well, what she thinks is having the city all to her hands. Pretty much, she gets it all. Her little manipulation. Now, what's going to happen with Herschel?
It's a good question.
He's all kind of
Maggie. She needs to beat her son's ass. I know that's for sure.
She don't believe it yet.
That.
She don't. I don't think she fully like. She knows, but she don't want to believe it. We'll see what happens.
Little boy needs a whooping.
Like, I'm curious to see her
against
reaction.
Your mother like this.
In this next episode, if they're going to show like her confronting him a little bit more, or watching him, following him, or anything like that.
Well, she knows he set the fire because she was able to, put 2 and 2 together when she saw the bandage.
Right.
Like, and I'm very curious, like, what's drawing him? Like, I get it that she kind of like fed you when you were at your, like, all that manipulation, like the Stockholm. All right. But like, what's with the city is the last place I'd want to be. Like, it's in the beginning of the apocalypse, during the apocalypse, after the apocalypse. A city is like, I don't know. I just wouldn't want to be in a city.
Yeah, I don't know too much about him prior to the season. It seemed like she made him think that he was, I don't know if it made him feel special and that maybe his ideas were of value. And him being, I guess, younger and impressionable, maybe? I don't know.
Well, Maggie's moved him out to the Bricks, which is a piece of shit looking place, when he could be at the Commonwealth eating ice cream with Judith Grimes. And everything being hunky-dory, got safety and protection, and he was never kidnapped, and they ain't got to worry about nothing. But no.
Right? Still have his toe.
Yeah, she's out here at the Bricks, which is a piece of shit place, just barely fucking making it. And so he gets kidnapped by the Dama, and she's like, dude, you can be a king. He's like, yeah.
Right.
My mom never loved me anyway. I got a new mommy.
Mm-hmm.
They fucking little shit. Like, oh my god. But yeah, like I don't like how they write Maggie. Like, she's just, Maggie wouldn't have put up with any of this shit in the comic book. She wouldn't even be here. She would have her own fucking place somewhere running shit.
Yeah.
Maggie runs shit. She doesn't fucking she fucking runs shit.
Right.
And the next time she ran into Negan, Negan would have been dead.
But she's supposed to be running stuff. I mean, she's kind of trying now. It seems like all the characters who are supposed to be badass are trying to get their footing or their power back a little bit, but they're just struggling. They're struggling a little bit.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's gonna happen. But yeah, like now and whatever. Where's it? Negan whispered in his little ear.
Right.
Dude is like, yeah, no worries. I got you.
Well, we all had a great show. We all played by the rules mostly, or some shit like that. Right? Like, we did. It was a good show, and out of the spirit of that, we're just,
right. Yeah, we got you. Don't you worry. We'll join your little alliance. It's all good.
Wholehearted though, man. Like, I treated you good, right, man? I treated you good, right?
Gave you dinner and a show.
Right, tell me I treated you good. He told you, he gave him a rat, told him, like, tell me I treated you good, right? Tell me. Don't say it.
Right.
And then, pat you, cut your throat. That was almost some.
Please, like, fill out this commentary card.
Like, Dana,
and tell us,
I know it's not real.
Experience.
it's not real. But in Fantasyland, that was some mob shit. That was some fantasy. Like the way he told me, he's like, "Yeah, I took real good care of you, right? Right? I mean, there was
Right?
some
We fed you.
sacrifices, but
We gave you liquor. We good, right?
Hmm.
Partners. He turned real quick. He was like, okay.
He's like, I know that's Tony.
that was fucked up, man. The
Right?
way
Fat
he
Tony,
talked,
just tell Fat Tony we know Fat Tony.
but it was
Come
fucked up though. The
on,
way he
man.
talked to Tony, though, he told me, Tony, man, I took good care of you, man. He's tell me, right? Or tell me, like it was the way he was like, tell me, I took good care of you. Oh, well, fuck, dude. Like, I already knew you would cut his fucking throat, but you wouldn't. Like, you got to hear him say it. That's gangster mob shit right there.
It is. Like you notice, like in every apocalypse, you gotta have the mob. You gotta have
Well, it's
at
New
least
York,
the
it just
umbrella
fits
of
with the fantasy world, right? That's the way I see it. I mean, they're not real, but like when I think of places where there's a lot of crime and fantasy stories, that's what I think of. Fantasy, complete
but it makes sense.
fantasy. I
It
gotta
makes
say
sense
that
that
for
this is
Dana. It's
how New
complete
York would have been
fantasy.
broken up.
It's not real.
It definitely makes sense that this is how New York would have been broken up. That you would have had gangs on like different sides and territories and stuff like that.
He's a real like magician though, doing all smoking beers. We'll give it to him though. He's smarter than the
Right?
rest of the dumbasses.
But then this
Yeah.
poor dude, sorry dude.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah, that was brutal, man.
We can't use you no more.
Yeah, that's brutal. How you gonna tell a man? Yeah, like I love you, man, like a brother, like a son. I took care of you,
Fed you live dead rats.
right? And you had
Right.
it good, right? Now,
Tony said you
unfortunately,
had to go.
yeah, unfortunately though, we can no longer continue this. But we had a good run. It was a good run, man. You did good.
Your services will no longer be required.
I loved you like a brother, man. It just kills me.
Then he did that James Bond shit and the knife come out of his watch.
Right, that's some gangster shit right there. You got to watch his ass. Which he did seem like the slimy motherfucker, so yeah.
Right? He's probably got knives in like his shoes. He just got the blades all everywhere.
Right?
He's just like, like we're good. I really hope we get to see more of his character. I enjoy him. I love him as an actor. He was one of my favorites on Sons of Anarchy. I loved his character. And just seeing him in the stuff that he's been in, he's always like a good back from like fucking Waterworld when he had the 2-second part in the boat. He's like, paper, paper. I was like, he's great. I really hope we get to see more of him. I hope it's not like we're gonna get through a couple more episodes or something and he's gonna die. That would be such a waste.
No, I think he makes it through 8. He said in an interview.
Good. He's good. No, like this, as it stands, this is better than The Last of Us.
It's
So
better.
I
It's got
will
my
give
attention a little better. It's got its flaws though. It's all
I'll
right.
give Dead City at least that. We're not sitting here cursing you out like we was just doing to The Last of Us. We're still kind of like here. We're still feeling you a little bit. Don't disappoint us, Dead City. Don't disappoint us. Gimple. Like, he just makes me
Even
so
though the
nervous.
zombies, are the kind of zombies that they are, so they look as I would expect. Everything else seems to look okay aesthetically so far. I mean, again, I like a little. They gave a little more fire, but can we get a person on fire? I mean, anyways, but otherwise, it don't look bad comparing to the Last of Us. It seems kind of cool. I mean, they got to work on a few things, though. A few little things. Some of their character shit sucks a little bit. The writing of the characters, but the actors are pretty good. Like the actors are doing a good job.
Please kill her. Kill her, please.
I thought the girl was
We're-
gonna
we're-
kill her with a gun or something, but no,
Nah,
she's
she's
gonna
gonna,
do
she's gonna,
what Maggie, I
fall
guess,
for her
can't do.
shenanigans. We need our shenanigans clip. She's gonna fall for her shenanigans
Well, she's gonna do what Maggie can't do, I guess.
because she's young and she's impressionable and she's mad right now. She want to kill Negan, so she's mad at Maggie,
Right?
and she's gonna feed off that and like use it, and then something's gonna happen,
So she's
and
gonna
either
turncoat at some point or something, or give some
yup,
information.
yup, and then Mama Maggie's gonna have to come out and kill this chick.
Right?
That's
It'd
what
be
I'm hoping. Feed her to the bear.
it'd
Oh,
be
that would be cool.
it'd be funny if Ginny popped one in her.
Hmm.
But I like, ugh, I don't know. Like their whole mission, like you're going to get methane or learn about methane. It was a reconnaissance, whatever the fuck you want to call it. You're going into New York City in the fucking apocalypse. Whatever's here is going to be savage. It ain't going to be no, oh, we're all peaceful and love each other. It's fucking New York City. We hate each other now. In the
Hmm.
apocalypse and afterwards, sticking all of us in the fucking can't get out because bridges is blown up. It's the city's gonna be fucking crazy. You ain't gonna have no, like, even the little people in the center of Central Park was a little cuckoo chewy after all that, ripping out, doing their little moans and
Right?
dances and stuff. New Yorkers are batshit crazy, so I don't know what they was thinking strolling up in a ship, like, oh, we're nobody could see us. And now you're like strolling around the fucking streets of Manhattan. You Maggie hasn't been here long. I don't even know my way around New York City. I still have to look at Miguel and be like, where are we going? Is that uptown, downtown? Where do we fucking go? I don't know my way around the city. I refuse to believe that all of a sudden now Maggie knows her way like around the city and shit. These people is crazy.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
And like one dude seems to know his way around because he's been there, or grew up there.
Pearly.
Which means he should have known better than this to begin with.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But New York City is going to be a savage fucking place. So you're not strolling in and getting anything like willy nilly. So I don't
Right.
know what them fucking people was thinking.
I
Yeah.
still know what the hell they thinking. They ain't got hardly nobody in their numbers.
I mean, it should have already been told. Hell, buoys that blow up when our boat hits it and flying zombie shit blowing up the boat. Our governor's dead. Boom, the whole boat just exploded. We barely made it off alive. Let's keep going.
Let's keep
Right?
mission forward. Shit.
Like, I'm sorry. You're going to have to figure out something else.
All About Crystal says another native New Yorker here. Oh, nice. Welcome.
Oh, awesome. Welcome, welcome. I'm sorry for your being a native New Yorker sometimes. But yes, I do love the aesthetic. I definitely see New York. It looks like New York. It gives me that feel. Just the writing. Come on. Come on. They could do it. It's like they're the little engine that could. It's like they're
Yeah,
there, but they just need that little push. Like just that little push.
almost.
So what would you guys miss the most as far as that question that they were talking to Herschel about? He didn't know what a fire alarm was, and then they said Kit Kat. What do you think you guys would miss the most at this point in an apocalypse?
Oh,
Oh,
good
I think
question.
about that. Well, it had to be
Do
something
I
that. Well, it had to be something we
do I
can't cultivate or have, right? Because it seems like they're
yes, like
still
do
able.
I have access to marijuana?
I would think those are some certain things that you could grow and stuff. Like you're still gonna if
Like,
you
is
move.
that a given? Like that's like out as a choice because obviously we would have that.
Probably, yeah. Something that isn't
Okay.
made anymore, like a Kit Kat or something like
Okay,
that.
okay. It would probably be a Reese's peanut butter cup. That is my favorite liked thing in the whole wide world. I like the Kit Kat, but for me it'll be a Reese's peanut butter cup.
But you say chocolate in general, because unless you have access, like somebody's got chocolate trees, because I think about like plants that people would be able to grow during the apocalypse, easily cultivate during craziness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
chocolate's out. Chocolate's gone.
and that just chocolate, anything chocolate alone is
Yeah,
devastating.
and possibly something to drink because I hate drinking water. I am the like water to me just doesn't do anything. Like it doesn't make me less like I hate water. I just hate it. So I would
Well,
probably miss like
luckily
a
though, you
soda
could
or iced
probably
tea.
well, so
If we
you
could
could
do
probably
tea
still
or
get
something.
away with something herbal with if you got bees, you can have
Okay,
honey,
okay.
and then
Yeah.
if you have herbs, you can make some kind of herbal tea, some
Yes.
flowers or
Okay. Yeah.
something like with.
Shit. I'd be setting up a Mountain Dew making facility to get that shit going again and be a quadrillion billionaire in the
Well, I
apocalypse.
mean, I say I would miss Mountain Dew, but at the same time, it's probably best.
It is best, but who cares about best? I mean, come on.
Well, then just go ahead, go for the Twinkies and every fucking thing else. The hell, why are we holding back?
Right? Are we gonna be like Zombieland and the whole mission is,
I'm
to
gonna miss
find the
McDonald's
last
chicken nuggets back in the 90s and
Twinkie?
80s chicken nuggets, not today. I mean, today's
Yeah,
chicken
not
nuggets
the
are
chicken
still okay.
nuggets now.
I mean, they're okay, but I already miss those chicken nuggets.
Oh,
I
that's
miss
too
chicken
much. So
nuggets.
much.
And you can't get them
I
back. I
miss
mean, yeah, you kind of recreate them, but they're still not the same. I've made tempura nuggets. They're still not McDonald's.
Oh yeah. Did
Chicken
you blend the chicken?
No, I didn't.
That's where you went wrong.
Well, I mean,
Did you use the horse meat?
no, I didn't make it into the like foot shape or whatever
That's where you
shape
went
No, that's
wrong.
all.
nuggets are.
I don't know, like, but yeah, I would definitely miss my Reese's
Oh
peanut
shit,
butter cup.
coffee. Yeah, I miss coffee, but can we cultivate? How easy
I
is
don't
it?
drink coffee.
How is it?
I
Caffeine,
wouldn't
Dana.
miss it.
Fuck, no caffeine. I don't know if we have tea at this
I'll give
point.
that to you.
Not like
I'll give that to
caffeinated
you.
tea. You might have some fucking herbal shit, but it ain't like ain't the good shit.
Yeah, caffeine, people would start going crazy.
No bagels. No
No
bagels.
caffeine.
Yeah, you give me no caffeine and no weed, no form of nicotine in the mornings. We're Mad Maxing it. I'm taking heads.
It's Thunder Road, people. It's Thunder Road.
I mean, couldn't you imagine? Let's say you're this far in the apocalypse and you're talking to a kid like Herschel who was born during, after it happened, and you're like, okay, at one point there was this giant. It was a jug of Kool-Aid, but it was a man, and he burst through this wall. See,
Oh yeah.
and you're trying to explain stuff. It would be hilarious. They'd be like, hell no, that didn't happen.
Right? There was something called a bag of potato chips.
What?
Well, they could still have potato chips, though, right? You make potatoes and you can fry them. And don't tell me you can't
Yeah,
have
but
fat. There's still ways to have
it's
fat. It
something
ain't going
about
to be the
opening up the
same.
bag, getting that like the feeling when you open up a bag and then you get mad because you see that it's only like a quarter of the way full, and you're like, this fucking bag of fucking chips cost me $10 and there's only 5 potato chips in
And
here.
I've made baked potato chips. They're not bad. It's
I
pretty
have
good.
too. I have
Pretty
too.
good.
Do you know that I think I showed you. I don't remember who I showed, but the guy actually made potato chips in the microwave and they came out like potato chips. I was so
Yep.
stunned. I
You
thought
get
them
that
shits was gonna come out
extra
soggy.
radiation with every bite.
I, I was just like, he fucking made chips in the microwave.
Hell yeah. They're radioactive chips. They go with the Mountain Dew.
There you go.
It's a whole movie package.
And see, that's the importance of setting up trade in the apocalypse and towns being nice to each other and maybe figuring out trade because somebody might have chocolate,
Right?
Right?
Right? They did have chocolate in Alexandria. Remember, Carol went in and took her nice little piece of chocolate out of the freezer that they had.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
It's
you
all
want to
nice,
talk about
nice.
chocolate and spices and stuff like that going back up like they used to be? I mean, they're expensive now, but like there was a time where it's real expensive. Like, you just didn't have that shit in your house like we do today.
Yeah.
Not everybody had spices and chocolate in their house.
Yeah, and I think the stuff that
Yep.
they had at Alexandria was left over from the real world, so it was a limited supply.
Because like the trees, from
Yeah.
my understanding, like it's not, and I could be completely wrong about this, but like the cocoa trees, they have like a particular insect that pollinates them, in a particular climate and all that. Like it's not as easy to, I think, grow anywhere and everywhere as
Right.
maybe other fruit trees or whatever. So yeah, it's not. Like we're thankful we have shipped things from around the world, and I'm sure
Yeah.
we have some fruit.
And
We
it's
probably even have it here now. I don't know. I mean, I imagine we do somewhere.
I mean, we'd probably grow like cotton and trade it for the chocolate.
Well, I mean, like, because now like cultivating things is different than it used to be. Particular with certain fruit trees and stuff like that. Because I even watched a video the other day where she does homesteading, and she was talking about how they're grafting a lot of these. You get some sort of rootstock if it can graft to another plant, and that rootstock is able to survive in this climate. Therefore, the plant can grow whatever
Right.
you want on it. So they're coming with, So I'm saying maybe through those means you might be, if that's already here in the States, and you can kind of cultivate it, because there were homesteads. We saw that in the apocalypse, so to speak. We saw these towns and stuff. It's not completely out of the possibility to have chocolate, but I would see that as being chocolate, coffee, tea, even like black tea that we think of when they like Southern sweet tea.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things I would think would be, because you don't just have, unless you have access to a way to grow it.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody with selling that type of stuff, or could figure out trade to get that stuff, salt, some spices like you were talking about.
Corn would be somewhat easy to grow to a degree, depending on where you're at. Now, they showed you kind of how their corn got fucked up with the moths or whatever, their crops. But corn would be a good staple. Potatoes would be a good staple. I don't know if wheat would be easy to deal with or not, because you got to grind it and all that kind of stuff. Oats and things like you don't. I don't know. I don't know the full process with all that.
If you go to upstate New York, the corn they grow up there, it's freaking it's insane. It's some of the best corn. So
And you
it's
can still
doable
have
in places
sugar here too. The
that
sugar
don't
cane
have
grows pretty decent, and from my understanding, it's like it can grow
a warm climate.
pretty good. And you got sugar
I
cane,
think
then
we
you're
would
pretty
do
good
all right. We would do all right, Scarlet. I think we could survive. I think we could do it. We've seen enough movies. Come
there.
on. I think we could do it.
Have you ever had sugar cane before? Like the actual sugar cane and chewed on like the sugar cane stick?
No, I have not.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Yep.
They're really good.
That's good.
It's pretty good.
I'm a sugar guy. I like sugar.
Right? It's really good. Like you just literally chew on it. It's
So, well, yeah, there would be lots of things I'd miss.
we gotta have James too. You don't forget about James. James is adequate, and we need him. He's intricate. I'm trying to think of really big words to say that make you sound really good. But yeah, we need James.
Yep.
I think he knows how to do a lot of stuff too, especially when it comes to the animals, because I'm gonna my heart will get broken when it comes to the animals very easily.
Same. I will not be able to kill anything,
It
but
ain't
if you
even just
bring me
the
something
killing
already dead,
yeah.
I don't mind butchering it.
Well, it's not even
I can
that part.
butcher.
It's when we have to like when you're raising the animals,
You
and they have to
just
have
don't name them.
birth to the animals, and
Just don't name them. Just
animals
don't name them.
make all their babies don't make it through the birth. They have all kinds of like breaches and stuff, and you have to be. I watched homesteading stuff today.
Yeah, the animal stuff can get tricky for sure.
And she broke my heart. And the lady was talking about her goats, or a goat that she had. She was still living in the city, so she hadn't quite fully homesteaded yet. And her husband was still working a lot, so she happened to go check on the mama goat. Went in. Mama goat was in labor. I forget how many she said the mama had. I want to say it was it was more than 3. And like 2 of them didn't make it. And I was like, I would break my heart.
Yeah, the real world nature stuff is brutal, man. Brutal.
Right. Like I get like
I
having to
can't
kill an
watch
animal
that
for
stuff.
food is hard, but I feel like at least that was sort of like a purpose, but to feel like you were trying to bring life into the world and then it wasn't able to come into the world, that's kind of break my heart. It was sad.
Because it happens. It actually happens a lot with different animal species, not just, it's just something that happens, and
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the animal kingdom is a cool bitch.
Yeah, so that to me is probably like out of all the stuff I've watched and seen, and I'm sure there's a lot of other harder things. That's just one of the hard things that I've like watched or read about or heard about, and I was like, man, that is definitely a hard part to deal with. Because you gotta help them, like especially like with the cows and stuff. Like you gotta really help that horses and everything. Like
it can get brutal. Having to pull a calf or something, it ain't no fun for anybody.
Right.
I could imagine.
But it's rewarding with the babies too, Coke.
Right, and everything's healthy and everything. Yeah,
and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I kind of sold that, but I was like,
I was like,
it's okay.
But
this is where the apocalypse takes you. This is what happens.
That's why we need James, because I need James' help, because I'm gonna be crying and have to like help with that.
Something
like, no,
to think about.
One of the babies. He's like, calm down, Scarlet.
I mean, it is something to think about, because you could go into your kitchen right now and open up the cabinets and the fridge and stuff and start setting out on the table things that you could have in the apocalypse with no worries. You would only have just 2 or 3, 4 items that, canned corn, maybe some vegetables, because you could grow some vegetables. If you laid out a pack of hamburger meat, you got to know you got to keep cows, keep them safe, fed, and kill one. There's a flour. Okay, did you grow wheat? Is another community growing wheat so you can trade for that because you have meat? Or something like that. But so, down to just salt and pepper, it's hard to say, yeah, I can make that or I can get that. It's like there's very few things, suddenly your diet in the apocalypse would go to
rats and
bread and water and rats or something,
No, they were eating rats and
carrots. You're not
Mm.
eating bread if you're in The Last of Us.
That's right.
Because the wheat got fucked up.
Yeah.
No more sandwiches.
Messed up. Man.
No more Sammys.
No more donuts.
No more Sammys.
No more bagels.
No more cake. Well, I guess you could. You'd have to substitute. Oh, I'm sorry for anyone out there. I don't mean to offend. I don't want to go vegan.
No, we'd all have to be gluten-free.
Gluten-free almond flour or something.
Because there's no meat left because it's like, all the animals then got infected. Right? Because animals can get infected, right? That was still part.
Well,
I don't understand the rules.
Series, in both The Walking Dead and The Last of Us, we know that their infected feast on animals. In some
so there's like, you can't trust the meat and you can't trust the carbs. We're fucked. Oh, shit.
But yeah. In both the world of The Walking Dead and The Last of Us, they're infected. Eat anything.
We gotta go vegan.
What's for supper?
You can't trust the eggs, can't trust the chicken, and you can't trust the bread. So you get a tofu.
Yeah. It's like, what's for supper? Potatoes and peas.
You get a tofu burger with a potato bun.
And what tomorrow night? What's for supper? Potato and peas. The next night, what's for supper? Potato and peas.
You might get a mushroom. Well, actually, careful what mushroom you grab. Wait, what show are we in?
Yeah, no mushroom.
True.
Maybe
which apocalypse are we talking about here, people?
Maybe
because there's different rules. There's different rules depending on which universe you were in. So
like, right, you gotta pick up the mushroom. Wait, shit, where did we morph to? Are we fucking? Oh shit! No, put the mushroom down. Fuck. No. Wait, baby. Wait, no. Wait, we're fine. No, it's The Walking Dead. Oh, okay. Mushrooms are good.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, it totally depends what universe you wake up in that day.
Right? Oh man.
No, but I mean, it's again. I'm still gonna watch The Walking Dead. We're not sitting here. I don't hate it as much as I did The Last of Us. So, Just
This
fingers
episode may have
crossed.
been this episode 4 may have been the better one out of the 4 so far. And they may get better. So, even though it's cheesy or cringe here and there or something, whatever, it has potential to still kind of climax a little bit,
Oh yeah, that's what she said.
Oh my God.
But no, it is actually there's a few characters I'm okay with. It's got enough of my interest that I'll stomach through it, even though there's like one zombie. Shit.
I know. I do hope we get more. We get more zombie. I do appreciate it. We know we still haven't gotten the bear scene, so
I mean, they're
we'll
making
see
our
what
dude
they
kind of,
do.
they're trying to, he's a badass. I get it. Negan's badass, and he's all strong armed right now, and a lot of parties at play here. I'm really waiting to see what the slimy dude with the fake zombie does next, because he ain't done yet.
He's about to invade Central Park.
And he gonna do something.
I think that's what the ending scene of him going, I got a tip and it's going to be it'll be risky, but the payoff's large. And then he looked out over Central Park. So I think he's going to go F up some crazy cult people in the middle of Central Park.
Some crazy voodoo people.
Oh no,
Blue
not the little
moon as
cult
they
people, man. Dang.
right,
Didn't they
look so
suffer
peaceful.
enough? Ah, dang, man. They was just chilling.
So peaceful.
They was trying to coexist with the zombies. Sorta.
If you live in the city, the tax comes due.
Well.
Oh, you love The Walking Dead all about crystals? I'm very glad. My original love is for the comic book. I'm a very big Walking Dead comic book junkie. So I have my qualms, but I'm a very big Walking Dead fan.
How does All About Crystals think about how it's been showing the city in Dead City? We'll see if we get some feedback.
Yeah, another feedback. But yeah, I mean, I will always be a fan of The Walking Dead. Like it's what got me into conventions. It's what got me into comic books. Like Walking Dead will always hold a place in my heart. I just wish Scott Gimple would stop pissing me off.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all. Just stop pissing me off.
It's hard. I can only name one recent show that I enjoyed. I don't really have much to bitch about, and it's weird because they just had like 2 or 3 flops, in my opinion, right before that, and it was the Star Wars show Andor. And so to me, it's like, wow, how can in this multitude of crappy shows, or at least shows like Dead City, I wouldn't call it crappy, but the writing could use a little work. You get something like Andor, which is actually played out pretty good, I thought. So the potential's there. It's just it's hit and miss, and we've just had a lot of misses as far as overall, like The Last of Us and Mayfair Witches and such like that. So again, I'm enjoying Dead City, and don't care to talk about the faults that it has and stuff, but it's definitely no The Last of Us season 2.
Definitely.
It's just, I can't see an agenda in it, even though the writing, I admit the writing is off here and there, and they draw it out in places and stuff like that. I don't know. I can't see an agenda inside Dead City, so that's one good thing.
Yes, very much so. And
like
the characters they chose, I don't mind the characters that they chose. Would they be in these situations together if it were the world of the comic book? Maybe not. But I've come to grips that this is now no longer, this is their own thing. So you can do whatever you want. They've called it that it's their version of The Walking Dead. So, okay. All right. With these new shows, I will give that to you. You don't get that with The Walking Dead because that's not how you started. But these shows, I'll give that to you because these are all their own stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't mind it in that aspect. But
Right.
the Rick and Michonne show, out of all of them, I feel was the worst.
Yeah. They just, I guess, and again, I always want to say that sometimes it's out of some people's control if there's so many chefs in the kitchen, as we say,
Right.
cooks
Hmm.
in the kitchen. So I think it suffered a little bit of that, especially when you start bringing in the actors as executive producers, um, to say, no, I want the story to go like this. And then you've got two other executive producers. Well, the story, part of it needs to go like this. And then you've got Scott Gimple, who's over it all, going, well, we need to at least put this part in. And, it just, in the end, it's like trying to make a lot of people happy. And it's, a lot of people love The Ones Who Live, but I thought it fell short as well because it just seemed like too many chefs in the kitchen.
Hmm. No,
Right.
what did it for me was once fucking Rick was like, or Andrew Lincoln was like, yeah, I think let's chop off my hand this time around. I was like, you pain in my ass. You went the whole fucking series with your hand, and now here is where you choose to chop it off. I was like, that's it. That's it. I was like,
And
I
because
was
of
like, I
that,
can't.
I think he may ask to also die as he did in the comics. It may not be die the same way, of course, but just die.
Right.
Yep.
So I think he may push for that as well. So we'll have to see how it plays
I'm
out.
thinking that. I'm very much thinking that too. I'm very much thinking that too. And the same thing goes for Michonne, because if she's taking over Andrea's role, then she gets hers too.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
But
you know,
overall, I think um, Kirkman, he did kind of sort of, it seems like, steal from 28 Days Later, and some other shows have opened up the same way, someone just waking up into the apocalypse. So maybe he just borrowed, and I don't mind it as far as all that goes, but he created a character, Rick Grimes, and even going into the
mhm,
TV series, I mean, I just think he's possibly one of the best characters ever written. I have
yeah,
probably a top 5, but he's definitely in it for sure. Even if all the shit around it is some bad writing and a few bad seasons and all that kind of stuff, he's one very well put together character.
yes, yes. Even in the opening scene where he like the character wakes up in the hospital and has to kind of like dredge through not knowing anything that happened, and it's and just what his progression as a character and the heartache, the struggle, the battle scars. Like, it's very good.
Yeah, and he was kind of like a cowboy almost, and it had that vibe to it in a lot of scenes, like
Yep.
just brutal, like you would think maybe the old west used to be. It's brutal, and it was good. The spin-offs are good. I just hope they have a bigger direction, and maybe they don't. Maybe it really is their own thing, and there's
Mhm.
not a bigger
And
tie-in. I don't
yeah,
know.
and you said this isn't going to be their last, that they're thinking they have some other things that might be in the works.
um that's what The Walking Dead does. They tease you like that, but we do have Comic-Con coming up right after this Dead City season ends, and I think before Daryl Dixon starts. So we could very well get an announcement of something, but it's just hard. They've teased it, but who knows?
Hmm.
It may
I
be
wish Stay Connected says all about crystals. Yes, we talk about
yeah,
that all the time.
yeah.
We talk about that
It
all
may
the
be another,
time.
it may be another season, it would be next year's Comic Con or something before they would be able to announce something like that. So,
Hmm. They're always at New York, so I'm wondering what they're going to announce this time around. Because I know when Dead City aired, they actually they closed down the Met. because that's where he is in the show. He's the guy's at the Met. So they actually shut it down and they did like a private screening. And it
Mhm.
was like you didn't have to get tickets. You basically waited in line for it.
Right.
But my mom, like I almost actually was going to go, but it was the week my mom had her surgery. But yeah, and the whole cast was there. They constantly do stuff in New York.
Nice.
Well, it's Dead City, New York, so I would hope they would do something at New York Comic Con.
Oh
It would
yeah.
make sense.
Yeah, I hope they make an announcement, a universe announcement, like it's another series or
Mhm.
something, some tie-in, some way. I don't know.
Yeah, because typically when they do panels, their panels for New York Comic Con are at the Madison Square Garden Theater because they still generate a lot of people, more so that could fit in any of the stages at the Javits Center. Like it's so they always tend to be at the Madison Square Garden Theater, which can hold like almost I think 1 or 2 thousand people.
Yeah, it's a very good possibility we could get an announcement. I hope so. I hope so.
Yes. Dexter is filming here too now. Which Dexter? The prequel Dexter, where he's like the young Dexter now is I think the one that's going on. I really unfortunately I've watched some of Dexter. I have to say I'm it's not one of the shows that I watched. I don't know about you guys.
I watched
I don't believe I have. Sorry.
I watched the first Dexter, like through all the seasons of the first Dexter, and I've watched maybe the one thing that came out after that I didn't like as much, but I haven't watched any of the TV show stuff, series stuff. That's lately stuff. I like the first. Some seasons weren't as good as others and stuff like that, but I like the premise where the serial killer guy is the kind of air quotes
Yeah, he
good
did.
guy.
Yep. Yep, the
So
anti-hero, so to
yeah,
speak.
yeah. The premise is good, and I think the Croat may in this show, Dead City. The Croat may I either see him maybe doing something terrible, like getting pissed off at Negan and Dama and like screw y'all, I'm gonna rise up myself, or something like um kills the Dama to save Negan or Maggie or the kid, or does something kind of like an anti-hero kind of or be heroic in his last moments or something like that. So I'm waiting to see what happens with the Croat, how it plays out.
Yeah. You never know because he definitely does not like that old lady. And you could tell that he'd rather be under Negan, but I guess we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens.
Right. Let's see. She all about crystals says resurrections. Talking about
Oh, that was
Dexter.
the Dexter. Yeah, that was the Dexter.
Yeah.
Keely says only watched Dexter up to where his sister started getting interested in him. That's where I stopped.
Bow, bow, bow.
Sister, this is some fucking Mayfair
Hey,
shit. What the fuck? Do they have to throw? Oh,
I think there was no blood relation. They were raised together. Her father
oh,
adopted
okay. I'm sorry.
her,
I
I
didn't have full
believe.
context, people. My bad. I
Yeah.
So
apologize.
yes, they were siblings,
I mean, it's still
but
gross, but
no,
I guess it's not as gross as I thought it was.
yeah, they wouldn't
And,
have weird babies or anything like
yeah.
that.
And
I don't know how to feel about that.
it didn't make sense really in the story, but at the same time, you could say it did because of the psychological trauma everybody in this show had, and stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, but still,
Yes,
no,
I
it's
know,
still
but
gross.
still, I
No,
know,
it's
I get it,
gross.
I
No,
get it,
it's still gross,
still,
but
but at least
I thought it was a step even
I
grosser than
was
it
tr-
already
I was
was.
trying to give it a little bit of light. I was
Well, I mean, like
trying,
I said, I guess it could have been
trying.
worse. It could have been what I thought it was, and I was
Exactly.
like, whoa, why every time we
It
watch a
could have been,
show, why they
it could
gotta
have
have a
been
show
some
to throw,
hills have
why they
eyes
gotta throw
type
incest
shit.
in there, man? Come on, we don't want it shit. We don't want it. Unless you're talking about like a really bad character that we all want to see die in like the next episode, I guess let them do whatever the fuck. We don't care. They're gonna
At
die.
least it had a little balance where The Last of Us didn't have any balance whatsoever. At least the Dexter thing, they're like, okay, brother and sister getting together, but now brother is going to plastic and duct tape up a room and chop this guy up in little pieces. Yay!
Well, so in other words, they're just batshit crazy. All right, gotcha.
You
I mean,
heard it
Game of
here,
Thrones
people.
had it too, but I mean, I guess at least you had a not historical, but in the means or just the guise of like history when it came to like kings and queens and stuff. They often did try to keep it within royal families and bloodlines and
Hell
shit
yeah, them
like that.
Targaryens love that shit. Them
But they took that
Targaryens love.
shit way. Oh god, it still went way too far. I'm like, oh god.
Oh,
Oh. Anyways,
right. But no, this was fun. We got to throw The Last of Us. Got to throw it in the dumpster. It's
right.
it's
That's
a
a wrap,
wrap.
folks. It's
It's
over.
history. It's
I'm just gonna
done.
have to get an AI version of the, cut thingy. I forget what that thing
Right? With the little thingy that says
is.
it's a
The
wrap.
little thingy.
It's
Yes.
snappy.
Leave it to us ladies to cut. The little thingy.
That's what she. That's not
The
what she
little
said.
snappy.
That's not what
The
she
little
said.
snappy
That's
thingy.
that's not what she
Not
said.
what she said. I don't know. Apparently, we keep saying it. We call everything a little
Yeah,
thingy. Yeah, a little thingy. You know, the little
it's a
thingy.
wrap.
James like, no, I don't know
It-
what you're talking about.
I have no clue.
You know about the little thingy?
right. But I know we have lots of stuff going on. We're gonna probably start doing some D&D stuff on Saturday nights, and we're gonna finish The Walking Dead Thursday nights here until the season finishes out.
Woo!
But yes, this Saturday we're going to have a nice little D&D hangout session. We're going to reveal some artwork to you guys. The players are going to like talk about their characters. We're going to have just some fun talking some D&D shop in general. So it'll be nice to put the D&D cap back on. And then I know Scarlett's going to be doing some gaming. We're going to be
We're gonna
gaming.
try. We're gonna try to get it in there as long as people that are supposed to do their job can do their job, and I'm not having to. Damn, I hate stupid people. You just wouldn't believe it, Dana. I can't wait to tell
Oh
you
no,
the
I would.
story.
I would. And
If you
then
can still
James is
hear
gonna
the fucking sound
James
behind
is like,
me,
I don't know how to get into this mess with these crazy gals.
the constant sound of fucking fans and AC units forever, Dana. It'll never end.
I can't hear anything. I'm trying so hard so you don't hear Miguel.
He's sleeping.
Yeah, poor guy. I'm trying.
No,
But
poor thing.
yeah, so that's all we got going on. What you got going on? I know you've been dropping videos.
Mr. James.
Yeah, just the usual, same old around here.
Right?
Dropping
Yeah.
videos, talking to you guys, and the last video I did, I think it dropped today, the 29th, is how difficult is it to wipe out humanity? And
I
I
know
know
I've yet to watch.
we've probably
Yet
talked
to
about it,
watch.
here and there in different aspects with you guys, even in different videos of the slight immunity factor, 0.1%. And it actually take a whole lot to wipe out humanity, more than people might think, even the cordyceps virus,
Right.
and stuff like that. So it would take something very massive, and possibly not biological, because most things biological, even if they did it in the lab, they can't make a virus 100% effective to kill everybody, just because of biological differences. So it's pretty crazy to think we're resilient.
Oh, yeah.
Put your science cap on, huh?
Oh yeah.
It would
You and
take.
your science.
It would take
Yeah.
a bit. It would take a bit.
That's what we got to do, Scarlett. We gotta we gotta like scour the internet, and I'm willing to risk it here. We gotta show James like the creepiest videos, and he's got to explain to us the science. Because then
Well,
because
cause
I've
see,
seen
we
some.
gotta
I
really
watched
do
this guy.
research on it though,
Yes,
because videos are hard nowadays. Like they
all I
made it.
know is I watch scary stuff on like Nuke's Top 5 where he like shows you like the fucking ghost videos and the shit. I leave it up to you to figure it out. And I'm sitting here like I can't watch it at night. I have to watch it in the daytime because it scares me. James, give me science. Please explain
Yeah,
that.
that's
Please,
that's
please
Well,
tell me.
because like
it's
you gotta dissect the video and who created the video, like how they had the camera set up in order to capture something. What else did they do? What other kind of like? And I'm not saying that it's not real. I'm saying, but to prove that it's real, right? You got to do the whole thing like they did in Evil. You got to go and make sure there's no smoke and mirrors going on.
yeah, and it'll get harder and harder because of AI and stuff like that as we go forward. In a lot of what I call conspiracy, for lack of a better word, I guess, but conspiracy type thought. Yeah, that's an easy way to piss a bunch of people off, telling them what they believe isn't true. And it's
Right.
hard sometimes to enter that discussion, depending on what the subject matter is. But
See, I don't mind. If you prove something wrong and it's something that scares me, I'm okay with that. I'm okay knowing the truth. Like if you're telling me the dude that's popping out of there and floating through there, you saw something I didn't see and it could be explained, I'm good. Like that just means that that's one less thing that's going to freak the fucking hell out of me.
right,
So
right,
Right.
you can explain away all you want. It's when the people who can't explain it that I'm like, oh, so you need to tell. Oh, yep. Okay. See, that's some scary shit right there.
right, right.
That's when you
Mhm.
gotta worry. That when you can't give me science is when I'm gonna get scared.
And sometimes it's and
Because
like I
now I
said,
watch
what
stuff. I'm
like
like,
all right,
James could
when you were
explain this.
talking about
He
like
could explain this.
the
I don't need to be scared.
well, like when you're talking about the ghost videos, like, and I'm kind of asking randomly like something, but and one of them was, say for instance, they have a camera set up and they're sitting there, and you don't see like an actual embodiment or anything, but some weird stuff happens behind them. Well, you've got to, in order to really investigate and make sure that it's not the house settling in some weird way or something like a car, and I say a car, but a vehicle of some kind driving by in a way that causes the house to vibrate just enough in order, and it's slanted or just off, from being level, that causes a cabinet door to open. Right? Like, and it just so happened, it only happens every so often because these particular physics have to align in order for that cabinet door to open. But there's no way for me to just be able to look at the video and say, well, I can tell that from looking at the video. You got to like be there at the location, do all kinds of like fucking shit
Hmm.
that I'm not able to
Debunking.
explain. But so like, and then if you say, okay, well, like you would have to show me something that was like you showed me the embodiment of a ghost, and even then and I want to believe. I'm someone who wants to believe in like crazy
Hmm.
supernatural shit, but oftentimes I usually am like, yeah, well, it's probably just something that's explained, which is
But
boring.
James, you made a good point that's stuck with me ever since you said it. We are in the age where everybody's got a friggin' decent camera in their pocket. Why is every piece of evidence that they ever try to show us some grainy, old, like some shit to where you're just like you have to sit there and point out. Like nobody has gotten fresh, crispy like video with all the shit we got
Now, what you would need to
out
show
there.
James data,
What?
and I don't even know enough about it because Dana just mentioned it to us in a voice chat, but yesterday, day before, is whatever they found in space with the thing that they sent out. The little
Oh
thingy they sent
yes,
out.
the Voyager 2
Yeah,
is
that
Mhm.
doing
thingy.
some wonky stuff that allegedly they can't understand. The scientist people are saying that they can't understand.
Yeah, it's I don't know your exact source, but I would say it's blown out of proportion or not true.
Well,
in
that's
the
what I'm saying. That's something we
in
need to
the-
get you to look at. Like we should
in
show
the
you a clip
sense
about that.
Ooh,
in any sense that
yes.
you may be thinking, because if your thought process goes immediately to aliens or anything crazy like that, it's crazy thinking. So
Well,
um,
you know what's weird is the way Dana
and I
described
don't
it.
know how to say it.
The way Dana
Nicely.
described it, it didn't to me sound like an alien in the sense of like little dudes walking around in a spaceship or anything like that. It's and look, and I'm not a religious person, Dana. You know me more than anybody else now, as far as like my viewpoints and stuff. The way Dana described it was more of a force or an energy, almost like, and I would say God, if for like purposes of religion, or like if you are kind of like the way I always thought about it was like there was an energy or a force or something out there, maybe not necessarily the way we see it on earth terms in religion. So the way she described the interaction that the Voyager had with whatever this is out there and like past our shit,
Mm-hmm.
it seemed more like an energy, like an intelligent energy, if
Yes.
that makes sense. Not a
Yes.
physical being,
Right.
which is wild. That to me is wilder than aliens. That is like, that's where science and religion are going to start to clash, because if the way they described it or the way Dana described it to us and we were kind of listening to it, not to say it's real, right? I'm not even saying that that is real or anything like that, but just to like, the possibility is if what they have discovered is real, that opens up those sort of really deep conversations about like God or energy, or however you want to put it, that sort of being out there that's guiding things. Whatever, however you view that in your worldview or whatever, your belief system. That
Yeah, it
was
was like
weird.
it was
That
it
to me
went
is more
dark or
trippy.
something. Like they couldn't reach it, they couldn't contact it. It wasn't showing any signs of life. And then it was like all of a sudden they did one final like I guess jolt to it or something to see if they would get any response to it. And then all of a sudden it like fully turned back on and is now sending them back all this stuff that they're saying this machine, this satellite shouldn't know how to do. Like it's
Like
too
something
outdated
hijacked
for
it
it.
or hacked it
Yeah.
in a weird way.
And like changed
Yeah.
it. Something
And I don't
changed
know.
to
I
it.
don't know. Like I said, if
So
what they said is true, it's weird. It's so wild.
yeah, and I think it's
And like this
I,
is something that's recently
so
happening
so
that they're trying to figure out.
so a lot of times it depends on who's telling the story about what's happening. Like
True.
they look through the atmosphere of a planet far through the galaxy and said that it could possibly have life because of what they saw of that the light was emitting, as far as you can tell what's in the atmosphere, oxygen and nitrogen and things like that. But if you looked in the news then after that, a lot of the headlines read like we found life, right?
Right.
And when you read the article, it's like, oh, we could have found life, and they didn't say
What
signs
kind
of
of life?
life. Yeah, it made you think we're there, right?
Well, yeah, and I always knew
So,
when they talk about the kind of life, it was out there.
so
They tell you it's
I think that's
hyper.
what the Voyager thing is. Yeah, they change the software. They have to power down one instrument because it's gradually getting farther away from the sun and can't the power is getting losing power over time, and those kind of things. And sometimes they can move the antenna and, hey, now we got a signal where we didn't have one before. And they're doing all kinds of things like that. And it is crazy that we can even still talk to it because it's so far away. But it is trying one of the last instruments on it is trying to measure what's in space around it as it travels through the different regions. As it traveled through the heliosphere, for an example, that surrounds our solar system, different ions and there were different readings of how that was different, and even different than they had thought it might be. So
right,
they,
because it's like particles and stuff. I'm
yeah,
assuming acting differently
they're learning,
in
they're
open
learning
space.
space. They're learning
Right.
space. And then when it hit open space where there's not any of that, like the sun don't reach that far. So there's not any of the sun particles. It was almost nothing. And they reached that point and that it sent data back. So a lot of times I just think with this, what you're talking about, I did see some headlines, but I didn't click on it because it was on those YouTube channels that do that kind of thing. It's like the National Enquirer or something. Is
Yeah, no,
what
I
I
happen to see it on the news, like just
right,
the regular like news. I didn't
right,
see it at first. I didn't see it on YouTube, but I looked
and
on YouTube after I saw something about it.
right, and I'll look it up though. But it's just, yeah, I don't.
But I just think it's
Yeah, the way they
interesting, like
described it, they said whatever it was sending back is information it shouldn't know. So that's where they're stumped. They're stumped that this satellite, for when it was sent out, they didn't have that certain coding or technology, or like something like changed it to where whatever it's now sending back to us, the scientists at NASA don't know how it would know that information to send it back because it wasn't built to do that, or it didn't have that kind of capability
technology
to
or
do whatever
Right,
it's doing now. And that's what's weirding them out, is that somehow wherever it went, it changed. And now they're getting all this stuff back out of nowhere that they don't even know how, like you said, it's so far they don't even know how they're getting this stuff even back.
right, right. Yeah, yeah. I'll try to look it up and see if I can find anything more specific. But
It was really like interesting to, yeah, no, it wasn't saying like, oh my God, they found life or anything like that. It was just they were literally stumped to how out of nowhere
right,
this machine who hasn't sent anything back to them in so many years, that they just happened to do one final like, let's see if we could get anything before we really declare this thing, dead, so
right.
to speak. And it, like they said, it like sprung to life and now is sending them back all this stuff so fast that they're just like they're shocked.
Mm-hmm.
which is wild because it was sent what just outside of our
It finally reached the end of what would be considered our solar system. They launched it in 1977 and now it's finally getting to what we consider the edge of our soul. Like it's out. It's
so
Yeah.
like it went past the edge of our solar
Yes.
system and
Yeah.
then it went out, like went dead or lost signal, whatever, and now
yes.
it's heading back our way. Like we didn't
No.
send the signal,
No.
or is it still going out?
It's still going out.
It's still going out, but it's sending all this stuff back that they don't know how it's able to do that
So
since
that
it's
is
so
kind of
far.
creepy then, James, because I'm like, because I'm trying to like, because I'm pretty skeptical mostly because I want there to be something out there. Like there's just something about like I don't know if it's just us as humans, we want there to be meaning, we want there to be something extra, you know. So I like to seek it. I will like I want to debunk everything because otherwise then there's no meaning to it. It's not real. So I really like if there is like it's just weird because if it's going out there past what we could fathom as far as what our scientists could kind of deal with, like, and you were talking about particles, right, and how like they're learning these different things and how they sort of react or their characteristics may be different in space or different places depending. So I don't know, it opens up. I'm smoking weed as fuck too, I'm really high right now, but
Yeah, me too.
I'm
This
thinking like,
ugh.
so like, all right, I'm trying to follow some shit here, like, and get way out there. But if particles are acting differently and we have no idea how, like, we've never had anything go this far out like
No.
this.
I
No.
don't
So,
believe so. I think this is the
so,
first.
so we have no idea then how particles, whatever those particles are outside in the sort of, what do they call it? Like dark matter and stuff like that.
It could be, but it's it's in the vacuum of space at this point, flying away from the solar system.
And we have no idea how that reacts to anything, right?
Well, we have ideas, but
Well, I'm trying to
that's
see, like, well, maybe it's the particles, like, then maybe it is
yeah,
some trippy shit. Look,
it
how the
could.
fuck do you explain it then,
Oh
James?
well, look. Okay, so like I say, I'd have to look it up to see more exact, but it there was a Voyager 1 and 2. Both of them used plutonium for power. And that means the decay of the plutonium kept them powered up. So once that power is declining, the decay starts declining. You know, let's say some thrusters fired, or the instrument was able to be turned on again after several years and starting to send back data. That could be because the plutonium, it's harder to charge up the battery, or, you know, to get the power built up for that thruster to fire, or built up for over time for an instrument to turn back on. And at the same time, they're sending code and recoding it sometimes just to get other things to work and stuff. They can actually, that's a big thing about NASA and their whether it be something on Mars or wherever, they have it built where they can actually send a code to make it do something and change that code and send something else, like an update, and, you know, make it do something else if it needs to.
Even with that older technology?
Yeah. So,
like, even
so that's
like
what I,
Kalima says, how do you hijack something that has no Wi-Fi? And 1980s tech. It was older than that. It was from the 70s, I believe.
I mean, she's got 1960s, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I mean, they just had the potential there. There's antennas on the Voyagers that sends a radio signal. It's radio signals, sends a radio signal back to Earth. It takes a while because radio signals do travel at light speed, but it takes, you know, 8 minutes for the sun. Like if the sun went out right now, it would take 8 minutes before anybody knew it, because the light. So it takes, you know, a while, and the longer it goes out, the longer it takes a transmission, but they can still do that. And so I just think it's probably something in the sense that, you know, like the heliosphere.
Still be able to send it.
Yeah. And as far as particles, we have the periodic table. You're not going to find, that's the whole thing about the laws of physics. You can look no matter how far away in a telescope to different galaxies and all the way through the universe. There's still oxygen, there's still nitrogen, there's still all this stuff.
But
and
we
there's
do
not,
know that particles react differently. Like they've slightly proven on at least a quantum level that particles, like when we're observing them or whatever, they act differently. So, and we have no idea how things react that far out.
But we kind of do. That's the whole
why
thing.
I asked. I was like, do we or don't we? Like,
we do, and that's the whole thing. And that's where a lot of believability or people's beliefs start going this way or that way, you know, depending on what they believe, because they believe miracles can happen. They believe the laws of physics can be changed, but science says it can't. That's why they're called the laws of physics. They can't be sometimes bent, but never broken, really, as just a general way of thinking about it. So that's the whole thing. They're not finding new particles that are reacting in a different way as the Voyager flies out through the heliosphere and into the vacuum of space. They're just finding the concentration of the number of particles. Like they thought there would be a lot more and there was a lot less, or there's a lot less and, you know, that there's a lot more. So it's not different particles or different energies even, really. It's just, oh, we thought there'd be a few more here, and we thought the heliosphere extended this far, but it actually extends this far, you know, and little things like that, more so.
It's still scary to just think about, like, even it, and that's what makes like supernatural is just the thought that if it could be real, the implications it would have, and how it would change society and like reality. And that's when I start getting nervous. Like if something that big actually was known, I honestly don't think we would ever honestly be told unless we stumbled across something and they had no choice. Because I'm sorry, I love people, but we as people are stupid. And when we hear something like that, what's typically the first thing people do?
We're going to go right. We're going to do
crazy.
We're going to try to do it to begin with. Look, we tell people not to go messing around with like tarot cards and Ouija boards, and we're like, Halloween, woo! Let's go read some
it's
Latin. We just yes, let's go play with it.
right? Like it makes
something
you think,
about
like,
Yeah.
are they throwing so much stuff at us right now, like the government? Because when did the government ever really like the cover-ups is what they do. But it's like I think we're getting to the point of technology is to where they're not going to be able to cover things up like they used to. It's not going to be as easy. And it's like I feel like they're kind of dipping our toe into shit. Like, well, these motherfuckers is going to find out eventually. So let's slowly start maybe telling them some stuff. Get them out of their want to riot and go crazy, and to where if we do tell them something, they're just going to be like, I kind of figured. You're not telling me anything I didn't already think was true, sort of thing. And that's what like I'm just like I'm waiting for some bombshell to be dropped on us. Like, yeah, you guys, yeah, all that stuff, yeah, it's real.
That's what I think, because the way they make it out, like I said, was not like it's so much an alien, but like just something while it was out there in the ether, so to speak, just kind of.
Yeah, they almost called it like an intelligent energy. Like this energy that it passed through was
Almost like an
somewhat
AI, like the universal AI, like Siri hijacked our shit.
Damn,
yeah,
Siri.
like they flew through some nanobots we didn't fucking know about or something.
Which, like I said, it's probably like you said, Jay. But it's just like, man, if they do discover, which they'll do, like I said, probably never let us know the real stuff if it was real. I mean, that's just wild thing. Like, what the hell's going on out there? But like you said, it's probably something, and they'll come back and say, yes, we discovered that there's more. Okay, I don't know, whatever particles out here than we once thought. And I'm like, why did you talk it up like y'all fucking found some intelligent energy? Why even fucking play with that shit? Because you get people starting to talk about that, and then they're going to start thinking it's going to be science versus religion.
Yeah.
Because that to me sounds almost like either you're talking, if intelligent energy to me sounds like either a god or, again, like an intelligent energy, a force or something out there that's guiding or controlling things in some manner. That you fucking with people's belief system,
and look, I get in trouble by saying this, but almost every single conspiracy, whether it be the pyramids or space alien stuff, pyramids and alien stuff are the two biggest, probably. Archaeology type stuff all that is huge. They want to sell a book, and that's it. That's the answer, and it's not a fun answer.
But I'm not going to buy a book. Though.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I mean, that's why I get in trouble saying it, because I see that in even the congressional hearings we've had lately about spacecraft and stuff on Earth, alien spacecraft or UFOs or whatever. I just see it as people trying to sell a book, and that's fine. It's just a lot of people really believe that. I mean, a lot. It's huge, huge. Most people. That's why I get in trouble when I talk about it, because more people believe it than don't.
Right.
more people believe aliens built the pyramids, or that a past intelligent civilization told them how to do it, than they would believe that those people did it. Like, I watched a video where a dude believed more in a laser. These ancient people had to have lasers cutting these sculptures. You mean to tell me a hammer and a copper chisel did that? Well, of course it did. You believe in lasers back then more than you believe in a hammer and a copper chisel? What? What? What the hell you been smoking? I mean,
well, that's because the aliens came here,
right?
And they're sophisticated. They're long.
Yeah,
they left their
aliens.
mark.
James, get on board.
I know, right? I know. I would absolutely.
They're long gone now, James. They said fuck off with this Earth. They didn't even want to participate anymore. They thought we were stupid.
If I could just get on board with all you guys, I wouldn't live out in the woods alone. I would have friends.
No, we're coming over there. No, you cannot close the gate to me and Dana. That's bullshit.
I'm not saying I'd close the gate. I'm just saying
he's just saying you're never going to find the gate.
Space suits and
in the real world.
It was on the James. It was on the walls of the pyramids. They wrote it. They left it for us. They told us, and so it's true,
Yep. Stonehenge, all that shit.
right?
Stonehenge.
And what about the Easter Island statues and
Ooh, yeah, man.
the
The Nazca lines. Who
The
has to see
mask.
those lines, but things up above us
Yeah,
that are
we
coming
need to
in
let
and
Miguel talk to
flying.
him about
See?
the place that
He
he
just
loves.
left. I said to him, I was like, "Do you want the link? We're talking about aliens." I was
Uh-oh.
He
like, "You
need
want
no.
to talk while you drive?"
No. Once you get him started on the ice wall, oh my god,
No,
I
but
don't
he
know.
loves it. Like because he loves hearing rebuttals
No, but it's not
because
just the ice wall because it like the ice wall for him it entangles so much more history or lore and mythologies and stuff than just what is centered around the ice wall, right? Because like it starts with the ice wall, and then before you know it, we're talking about ancient gods.
Yeah. There is an ice wall in Antarctica.
And there's a lot
yes,
more
but
to
what
it,
lies
according to him.
beyond the ice wall, James?
And the
Um,
things
What lies
around the
well,
ice
beyond
wall, right?
I
There's
can
the
tell
ice
you.
wall?
some
I
other
can tell
stuff.
you there's an ocean around the ice wall on the outside, and when you
No,
ride
no,
up
you got
to
to
it
go
in
through
a
the
boat,
portal. You
when
didn't
you
go through
ride
the
up to it in a boat, it's
portal.
a huge ice wall. But what is it? Oh, it's floating ice, and when you climb on top of it, it's just
And then
flat
you
on
go,
top.
no, you got to jump just right and catch the right angle with the sun on the right day and not a leap year. And you go through the portal into the other world.
Right.
Right. You got to do it
No,
just right, though.
it's
It's like on
yep,
St. Patrick's
and
Day, you follow the
it
rainbow.
leads you it leads you
Well,
to
I'm trying to give them the
it's
map, Dana. It's
the
the rain.
the world looks like a
I tried to tell
snowman.
you how to
There's
get
three
there.
levels, and we are at the top level. And
Don't
then
steal
there's
what
a
your
middle
charms.
level and a bottom level. And the different levels, the reason why we have no magic is because I see Miguel's better at this than I am. There's something about us, we have no magic. And then the further down you go, the more magic exists and
Okay.
Ooh.
I
stuff.
got two
And
things.
yeah,
A,
I probably totally fucking butchered that.
well, no, not just don't. No, you didn't butcher nothing actually. A to Miss Pan here. Yes, I have actually watched Three Body Problems, the TV show. I do like it. I meant to cover it, and it just got followed because I didn't watch it when it first came out. I actually caught it after it came out, and then we had From going on. There's so many other things going on. And then I never really got to it. I do want to get to Three Body Problems. I think the next season does it come out to 26? I believe I looked it
I
up
believe
earlier.
so.
Um,
Yeah, you said 2026.
so I'm gonna try to slowly get my screenshots of the first season and anything I want to have from that. And at some point, I do plan on talking about Three Body Problems. It was on my list originally to talk about. Again,
It
just
sure was.
with everything and everybody and all the craziness, it just kind of felt like it just fell to the wayside. But it is one that I did enjoy.
It's a deep one too, to get into for sure.
And then talking
Oh
about
yeah.
what you were talking about, Dana, why is it when you're talking about it, it reminds me of this TV show from the book? Hang on. Was it Dark Magicians? No, shit. Hang on. The Golden Compass movie, but then they made a TV series. Oh, his dark. Oh,
I've never seen that.
what was it? Dang it. Oh man. Hang on. It was the Golden Compass was the movie.
Yeah, I
And
think I saw like the first couple episodes, but I couldn't
I
keep
can't remember
going.
the name of the damn TV show though. But it reminds me of that the way you're talking. I'm gonna have to find the name of it.
Her dark materials or
Yeah,
something,
yeah, yeah. Something
or
like that.
or
Yeah.
his
His
dark
dark
material.
material. Yeah.
Yeah,
The way you talk about because the way they layer, like there's this whole thing where it's like each one of the worlds or universes is sort of layered on top of each other and stuff. And the way that you was describing how like some worlds had magic and some worlds didn't. And it was kind of like that there in the show. Like some had more, some had less. And yeah, they even went, I think, to a very icy place and shot through a portal that was created You gotta watch. There's a lot of weird shit. They even had like an Adam and Eve kind of thing. It was a whole lot of stuff. But it reminds me of what you're talking about a little bit. I wonder. I'm gonna have to ask Miguel about that. Is there any relation?
Well, Panda Kalima said at one point, is it true that light is a particle in a wave in science? And the answer would be yes. It acts as a particle in a wave in different ways you look at it. So, yeah, that's a yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says there's no ancient crane that could lift the stones of the pyramids, and very possible. We'll see. We'll never know, really. That's the whole thing. That's why these people can, on a lot of these things, whether it be aliens or pyramid type stuff, they know no matter what they say in their book or whatever they're saying in their video or whatever, you don't know. You weren't there. We don't know. So
pyramids to me is not that big of a mystery as far as like how was it done. And I'm not smart at all. You've already debunked anything I try to prove tonight. But when I think about like the pyramids and the fact that I'm assuming there was the birth rate, perhaps there was a lot of extra hands maybe going around, and there was a time where humans were very like inventive, especially when you had mass amounts of humans. I don't know. I could see them finding a way to. I don't know how, because I'm not that smart, but it doesn't seem like it's unreasonable for humans to have done that. Now, to say, well, why could humans do it here, but we didn't have it here? Well, there was all kinds of civilizations that had all kinds of advancements in their architecture and stuff like that, where others had advancements here, advancements there, and some didn't have shit, right?
Yeah. Just the way
aliens is a nice way. It is fun. It's fun to say aliens came down and did it. I'm not gonna lie. I would love for there to be some weird mystical shit just because I think it's fun.
Right.
But again, what was it? What was the term we used to hear all the time in Evil Dana? Occam's razor or whatever. Which one is most likely true?
Yeah.
And that's what I also loved about that show. And I think that's something you would enjoy. I don't know if you watched Evil Kings, but there is a character in there, Ben, and he very much thinks like you. Like he's a science-based, like if there was something, it could be explained with science. And he constantly, that was his job. His job was to figure out the science to, okay, why is this chick acting possessed? Oh, look, I figured it out. She used fake glass. There's something like, but then he would face things that science couldn't explain, to where there came a point to where it almost broke him in the show, because these things supernatural that were happening to him, he couldn't find a scientific explanation to it.
Right.
And it just makes me think, like, there might be things out there that could science maybe not explain, that
there's
it's not
always
a monster or ain't or whatever, but
there's always things science can't explain, and maybe we'll never, but it doesn't mean the opposite answer to that is immediately something fantastical. That's just the way I see things. And like, if we can't do it now, I mean, we could do it now. I mean, that's the whole thing. We could. It's harder though, because you go back into things like a couple of my friends, it's been years ago, the last time I talked about Egypt stuff, they thought the people that built the pyramids were slaves, but we found through archaeology that they weren't slaves. And we found out more about how they, if you want to call it, worshipped and their society was. And the people, a lot of them were farmers that were the laborers, but they had skilled people, stone cutters and foremans and things like that. And these were all people, just people. The farmers might leave and go tend their crops and then come back on the off season and work on the pyramid. Why? Because their king was God, and it was a privilege. It was an honor to work on the pyramids. That's what we're missing today. We don't, life isn't like that anymore. you know.
Right.
But you can look around the South also. A good example, if you drive around the South United States, you see all these 1950s intricate houses with little detail around the porches
Yes.
and things like that. Why don't we do that anymore? Because it's expensive as hell. You go to
Exactly.
some carpenter and say, I want that. Shit, man, it's expensive
Yep.
as hell. That's why we don't do it anymore. Not that we can't. We just, there's
Exactly.
reasons. There's a lot of reasons why we don't do certain things
Because
the
I
way.
even watched that same homesteader chick that I watched. I told that story about. She apparently, like, her journey on YouTube or whatever was showing how she basically tried to learn as many old trades as she could in order to be able to live, basically, if she had to, by herself. And one of those was woodwork. And when she showed sort of what she made, and she used all, like, showing basic tools and stuff like that, what they were able to create. And of course, none of her stuff was perfect at first or anything like that, but over time of her learning with it, what she was able to create. And then you think, like you said, people who were family trades, right? We don't have family trades like we used to, where it was sort like every generation it was bred into them, right? They grew up from birth learning how to use those tools. It was a proud family trade, even in hats, whatever it was, right? Clothing, all that kind of stuff. Clothing now is like, to have something handmade as opposed to factory made, it's completely, it costs out the ass, right? For someone to actually hand sew you something. So yeah, those trades, we don't actually put the skill, the time, or the care into them as we used to. So you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah, and you know, it's I think it's been proven you can watch conspiracy type videos and they won't show everything and they'll go off on a tangent sometimes about something, but you can, if you look for it enough, you can find videos and different documentaries even that does show copper chiseling
Yes.
and different things.
I
And
and
you know, I
and
just
that's
think,
why I like the Y files. He
yeah,
does that. He gives you both sides of it. He gives you the things that the people say are proof that it exists, and then he will show you the things that debunk them. And he still like leaves it up to you, and he'll admit like whether he, because he said it himself when he started investigating the moon, he was like, I didn't believe none of that stuff. Like it's all sounded, but he's like, the more he investigated and the more he looked into it himself, the more his thoughts on it changed, because he is the type of person that would go out and give you all the facts on both the sides. And he was actually getting shit for it. Like they were like, oh, why do you give us these stories? Then you go and ruin them at the end with your like, well, here's the proof that that's bullshit. But it's still up to you whether you, which side of it you're going to take. But I'm going to still give you both sides. But he
mhm.
was like, there was something about doing the stuff on the moon that his thoughts very much changed on like certain stuff.
And what sucks about the moon is the fact that there's government involvement, and that even if there was something they were trying to cover up or something they were trying to like make seem grander or bigger or whatever their purpose was originally, of course, because of their fuckery, it makes the conspiracy theorist or just a conspiracy like brain sort of work, right? Because like
Yeah,
once you've lied about something or you've kind of had some kind of falsity with something like that, then people are going to question everything else about it.
yeah. Area 51 is a good example. It's just blew out of proportion greatly because they lied. The initial
Right. And like one
news.
of the things with the moon was like what, because of the pictures and stuff, had they come out and said, hey, look, man, we were never going to be able to have good images because of the times, whatever. We, Hollywooded up some stuff so that y'all could have what would be the experience that they had, but we couldn't actually we couldn't actually visually show it to you in a way that would, captivate the audiences, because we were trying to make a big show, similar to how like on the Dead City, she was like, we got to make a big show of it, right, to captivate the audience. So maybe that was why there was some fuckery with the photos and stuff like that, right? Maybe they did actually
Yeah.
have a set where they did take and film some things with the, maybe not even the real guys, right? Could have been actors. I don't fucking know. But to promote that, because we were trying to be the first ones there, all that kind of stuff. knowing that the images would never come through properly, the real images. I don't know, but instead of being honest, if that was the case, now you've left little details like that kind of for people to fuck with.
Yeah. I think they've gotten better over time with that. They've realized that, they can create a object, a satellite or something, a probe to go out there and get a good image with a good camera and the technology. And they're doing all that now because all their funds come from the public. So they need to keep the public happy and interested. If the public suddenly isn't interested in space anymore, they don't, they can't do what they want to do. And so a big part of it is, public interest and things like that. So they got to do stuff to make stuff cool, and everything every now and then.
So they just got these little Voyagers out there and they're just like, let's keep sending signals. See if, we got one. All right, let them all know. Let's see how much money we get for this shit, guys.
Yeah. Part of it is, part of it is, some of this funding has dwindled because they're not, it's not actively in science anymore. It's just something going out there. But for the sake of just all of space and knowing and humanity, even, we keep trying to talk to it and stuff like that. And the plutonium will build up, and maybe get a little bit more power for something that we can do one more thing. But eventually we just won't be able to talk to it. And the technology is just amazing because just the wattage of the radio signal it's sending out is very small because of the technology back then. And by the time it reaches Earth, it's so small, you have to have some special equipment just to be able to grab it and know what it is and stuff, because it's so weak when it gets to us. And eventually we just can't talk to it anymore. And it'll take probably 80,000 years to reach the next object in space. Mm-hmm. Traveling at the speed it's going. So there's a long ways in between stuff.
And and honestly, with the whole moon thing, like, I don't know where I stand with that, because when I watched the Wi-Files on that, or his video on that, I go back and forth because, like I said, I don't know which side to believe, because of the fact that it's something that happened well before my time. So any kind of records or anything like that, again, you're gonna have to put it right in front of my face for me to truly believe it. I joke around about a lot of stuff, but for me to truly believe it, I honestly at this point have to see it in front of my face. But because of the way governments work and stuff like that, I don't even know if, like, I'm assuming you're talking about like the images of the Doom buggy. Were those images even the real images of them when they went, if they went to the moon? Were those the real images of them on the moon?
Yeah, I think
like that could be the part where, like, they're over exaggerating their space travel, right? Not like, yeah, we made it to the moon, but we didn't really make it to the moon with everything that they showed we made it to the moon with. That could be a possibility. Honestly, I don't know. Like, it's one of them things where, like, when they start talking about it, I'm like, you could probably convince me one way or the other, depending on what evidence you actually give me. Because those pictures, I looked what the Wi-Fi's guy had on the images from the moon landing and stuff like that. There were little things that, and I even went over it with my husband, because my husband's very much so like you, James. He's like, doesn't believe in anything that's probably mystical, supernatural. You live, you die, that's it. Mm-hmm. You make the best of the life that you have. It doesn't mean that life doesn't matter, but it's, this is the only life you get. So, you do good because this is the only life you get. But I don't know. Like, I would love for there to be some crazy stuff out there, but I don't know.
I think that's the allure. We all would, it'd be cool if we found out aliens existed. Maybe it'd be cool if we knew that ghosts existed, or spirits, or a magic. It'd be cool, for science for a long, long time. Even some of the greatest thinkers we've ever had on planet Earth, like Isaac Newton, they were, for a long time, hundreds of years, they were trying. It was alchemy. They were trying to find a substance that they could turn into gold. Like, let's not try to find gold and mine it. Let's just figure out how we can make it.
Right.
And that was a huge thing that science followed for so long. But we started finding out how things worked, how the periodic table worked. We started filling it in with all the elements, and we saw how they worked, and we figured out alchemy is not something we should take seriously. And we finally dropped it and moved on, because we figured that out. And, I just go back to an extraordinary claim needs extraordinary proof, but also you got to say that how do you say it? There's a saying, it's like the absence of proof isn't the proof of absence.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
So there's that too, there's that too.
And it is hard because, like, all right, even there's so many things when they were talking about, particularly the moon and all these different theories around the moon. And then what you were talking about, James, when it comes to humans and money and sort of why we perhaps are doing things they're doing. And you talked about space programs, stuff like that. And of course, how much cooler is it to show off, our guys landing and having the flag up and the dune buggy and all this kind of stuff to sort of hype up that program and really get the interest in it to get the funding for future endeavors, as opposed to seeing him with like shoddy ass camera equipment. The camera's so bad that you're kind of like cutting in and out. You probably didn't bring half that equipment, of course. So that's, people are going to be like, yeah, you landed, but it's kind of like, oh, what the fuck, right? Because we already know how people's attention, and regardless of the time period, people always have like flash and wow, like the bazam, right?
Right.
Fireworks, all that stuff. Pyro. I mean, we love it. We love fire, right? I mean, we were amused as fuck when we got fire.
Yep. I think it's as far as the moon landing, just taking that, I think it's been proven several different ways, but they placed small mirrors which we shoot a laser to, and it bounces back to us, and it wouldn't do that if there wasn't those little mirrors actually there. So you could kind of take that if you believe in that.
Or did we? All right, could we have just like put a probe or something there with a mirror?
No, not necessarily. Well, yeah, but we know we didn't launch that.
But
we know we didn't launch that. We launched some men into space, and another
I'm
big
just
thing.
Saying, look, I'm
yes, but the biggest
you
thing
said that it's because there's mirrors on the way it's proven is because there's mirrors on the moon, right?
One way to prove it.
I'm just trying to debunk that. That.
And that you could say is questionable, but the biggest thing I think that helped me when I used to believe that we never went to the moon, the biggest thing for me is that the Russians didn't deny it. We were in a space race, like almost with knives to each other's throat kind of space race. It was really serious. And if we hadn't have made it, the Russians would have known. They had their satellites, they had their telescopes, they had everything watching us just as much as we were watching them. And if we didn't make it, we'd be and faked it, we'd be the laughing stock of the planet, because Russia would go, you did not, So that's a huge thing in itself.
That is,
take away any evidence of photos or, this or that. Just look at what the Russians did. And they didn't say anything. They actually confirmed. They actually said, yeah, you did. So, I mean,
Well, is it that is true. And that's probably the most likely. But Russia, I don't know enough about the politics and sort of things going on during that time. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not as smart. Hey, I love you. I'm not as smart as you think I am. I'm not a historian. It's one of them. What is it? Jack of all trades, but master of none. I dabble in a lot of things, but have no. Anyways, so I don't know if there was something maybe worked out. Maybe they really couldn't get there, and they were like, "Fuck!" They already got the publicity. They kind of fucked us, and then we were like, "Hey, look, we'll give you a little something on the side. We won't care about that nuclear weapon. We'll say we do." you won't really care about it.
Hmm.
And then Rush is like, nah, it's cool, man. Yeah, y'all got it. Is that
Yeah,
possible?
no, not
No?
really.
Are you sure?
I don't think so. I mean,
But I don't know. I mean, I'm just curious.
nah. I mean, it would be
Believe it or
hard.
not,
What's
believe it
up,
or not,
Unicorn?
it wasn't that part of the moon that made it interesting to me. I liked when he started to talk about whether it was hollow.
Yeah, that was
That
cool.
was even he was bugged
Uh,
out. He even bugged himself out about that. Like
And
he
how
was
true
just
is
like,
that, though? Is it hollow or not? Because I've been getting conflicting stories on that.
I would say no.
Well, that's
he
how
was
do you
like
know? These people are
Uh,
saying that
that
it
okay.
like
is.
Okay. Did they explain the orbits, the gravitational orbits of things, and how it makes sense that they're doing like they're doing the moon around the Earth and moon
damn it,
together
I want to watch
around
it
the
right
sun?
now. Damn
Well,
it.
I mean,
Because
I know a little bit about that.
because
The
if it was
theory, yeah.
empty, the moon wouldn't rotate
Well,
around the
you don't
sun like it
understand what
does.
he's saying, though. He's not. It's not just a object that is just hollow, like uh, an Earth would be hollow, and it's just out there. He's saying well, not him, but the theorists are saying that it's hollow, but yet it's the outside is very strong and durable, like metal never seen before. That it's a spaceship.
Oh well, now you're just fucking going off in Looney Tooney
Well, I
land.
don't look. It's not my theory or nothing. It's one I heard. We're gonna have to send you that damn Wi-Fi. So you're gonna have to suffer through it.
Oh my
Then
goodness,
you can
you had me
listen.
there. You
All
had me
right.
there
You
till
know what? I
spaceship.
think we've come up with the new Mystery Fever lineup, and it's gonna be like Mystery Fever, James debunks.
Yes, I think that would be so much fun.
We'll go through and
I
do.
think that
It's
would be
kind of
so
like the
much fun.
Wi-Fi's, but except we're gonna go through like, yeah, God, this is wildest shit ever. Check this shit out, and the James will be like, no, it's not possible at all.
Nah, I don't think so.
Nah.
See, I'll
It's
be a
very
bad guy.
interesting. Like,
That'll make me the bad guy with a lot of people.
and he was like saying it was like based off tests that the astronauts have done there, that like they did some tests, and they did a vibration test that when they did something, one of the theories that it's hollow is because it almost rang like a bell.
Right.
Like it something with the vibrations made it look like it was hollow because it was something a bell would do, not something that was solid. And then it was like they measured like the something on the outside of the moon to, if they dug a little bit, it was I forget because it's been so long and I'm really stoned, so I don't want to quote it but it was some weird shit. It was some weird
And
shit.
he's telling you who the people who are claiming these things, which are
Yep.
probably scientists and such, which are some of the same people who,
And he admits that. He's like, don't, these are the worst people. If there's a whistleblower, they typically tend to ruin things more than they
right.
fucking make their story hold any weight, because
I
they're
still like the
totally
lizard
discredited
people
most of the
part though,
time. And
because I love the heckler fish, and he's all about them lizard people.
oh yeah, he's got this little sidekick called the Hecklefish,
Yeah, the
and
heckle
he
fish.
literally lives up to his name. He just heckles him the
Oh yeah.
entire fucking time he's explained. And he's the person like who will like either debunk stuff or do like
We do. Yeah,
when they talk
he
about Mount
definitely believes
Hayes.
that the lizard people are real.
Yep. And he'll be like Mount motherfucking Hayes. He's just the cutest little fucking thing. And
Hmm.
but he heckles him the entire time.
He's my favorite.
Yeah, Y Files. It's a good, if you guys don't know, he does his research, and he will give you the what's considered the proof and what's considered the stuff that debunks the proof.
Yeah, I don't
And
watch all of them, but he does enough of like different of these different theories and things that there's usually something within like a week or so that I'll find. I'm like, ooh, I might check out a little bit of that. Like
It's
he
a
kind of
big,
covers abroad.
it's a big topic. I mean, people are into all that kind of stuff, whether it be ghosts or supernatural or
Because we want
aliens
a meaning,
or
right? We want a
you know,
purpose. Otherwise, what the hell is a purpose?
yeah, Yeah,
And
I
don't
mean,
say, well, it's so that you. No, we want to feel like there is something out there that is greater than ourselves.
well,
Yeah.
you know,
I
the universe could have, take away the God aspect. You could call it God if you want to, but let's say the Big Bang happened. What started the Big Bang? Well, it could be God snapped his fingers or whatever. Well, that could still be true. Nobody can prove it or disprove it. But what if it's all the universe simply trying to understand itself? And
That's fucked up.
so you do have meaning, even though personally you may not can see it. In the bigger picture, you have a lot of meaning.
Well, I hate to like quote it, but I always, and this was very sad to me that I'm about to quote a fucking Marvel movie. But when Thor was talking to his little chickie, and he was like, what you call magic and we call or what you call science, we call it's one and the same. It's just something that science hasn't explained yet. So
Yeah,
henceforth, it's magic
right.
because your science hasn't explained it yet. Or you like, I always love that explanation that they're almost kind of intertwined, that it's called magic because we don't have the science yet to explain what it actually is. But it's all still science nonetheless.
Right.
I hate to quote a Marvel movie, but that always resonated with me. Like it's just another form of science that hasn't been explained yet. So you
Right.
call it magic.
Yeah. Science. I think science is magic. I mean,
Yeah, it's one and the same.
it's definitely, we thought stuff in the past and it was wrong, but we got through it and now we see it better. And it may still be wrong, however we looking at it, but we have a better understanding. Our theory or hypothesis, we understand it. It explains it a little bit better, and we'll just get better as we go. I think with a lot of stuff, figure out more, get more magical.
Maybe one day we'll have
It,
the answers that we seek, or we'll just ignore them and make up our own.
yeah, but it's just always interesting to think about. Like
It's
it
fun, especially when you've
just
been smoking
yeah.
and stuff. I mean, you just can't help it. All right, it's for some folks, it's just I don't know, part of our nature. Our DNA hasn't evolved past it yet. I'm somewhere in the middle. Like I do. Part of me still wishes that there was, fairies. Sometimes, like just mythical creatures. Like they're fun to think about. Like man, that'd be so fucking wild. But most likely than not, it's not that fun. Life is not as it's beautiful, but it's not that kind of beautiful.
It can be if you want it to be.
It's different though.
Well,
It's more.
okay.
What's up, unicorn?
Last one of the evening. Oh, what does Miss Unicorn say? We don't have to have a creator to have meaning. We are everything and everything is us. I very much like that. I very much like that. But I'll give you one more for the evening before we wrap it up. Have you guys ever heard of Rando Nautica or Rando Nauticking? I forget if I'm pronouncing it wrong. You guys tell me, but it was this app. It was people were doing it a few years ago. I don't know if people still do it, but you would go into this app and you would basically ask it to either bring you somewhere good or bring you somewhere scary. Like whatever you wanted to go to, this app will give you coordinates to get you somewhere to show you that. So these kids were messing around with it once and they started with something easy. Bring me to something blue. So they followed the coordinates and it brought them to this like parking lot. And they were like, what's blue around here? Like, there's absolutely nothing blue. The kid opened his door to get out of the car, and there was a blue, like, soda can laying there, like, on the floor. And they were like, oh, this is creepy, but okay. Like, you know, but push comes to shove, this thing they must have asked to bring us to someplace scary or something, and it actually led them to where they found a dead body, and it was all over the news, and like they discovered this like thing, and it was crazy. But allegedly this app will bring you to like some really weird shit, and I'm just like, okay, how's that possible? Like you're asking it to bring you to someplace scary. And now, mind you, some of these kids were caught faking the funk and doing crazy stuff. But other one of them were just regular people who were doing the app because they wanted to get scared, or it's more so be a scary thing than anything else. Where do you think it's going to take you, sort of shit. How, like, do you think something like that is possible? That
How old
because
is that
their
app?
energy, they say, like, the energy that you're putting off this app could sense, and whether,
Well,
like,
how
it could
old?
Mm,
take you
What
to
about
the
what time period was this app?
2020,
very recently.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, then yeah. Oh, well, then that's not unbelievable. Then
2021, something. I think they stopped it because of stuff like that.
yeah. I mean, I was gonna
People,
say it
yes,
sounds like some AI stuff, like some Siri shit, where they're like
but I think that was, um,
using cameras and shit.
I think I remember that in the news, and that was,
right?
I don't know what would be the right word to use. Coincidence that they went to that place and found the bodies. I mean, I don't know if it was because I know they were following the app and what it was saying, and they happened upon the bodies. So I'm just wondering, I mean, I don't know if it had anything to do with the app as far as the app knew they would come across these bodies. I don't know.
Because
Just
like if
seeing.
it's get access to cameras, information, news reports,
No, it wouldn't. I don't
like
think
I
it's.
don't know what all this app had access
No.
to.
Yeah, I think it was just an algorithm, you know.
Well, for it to find a can that's blue on the side of the road, it would have to have been able to see and know that it's there. I would assume cameras and stuff like that would be the way that goes down. Scary
Yeah.
house, and if it's finding something scary and it comes to a dead body, I mean, it would have to have access to news reports or something, knowing that this location or this property is high crime, high something.
Yeah. True.
That would make sense, especially in 2020. We're
It
not
would.
talking because I'm sitting here thinking like this is some app like back when I was in high school, maybe in like early 2000s.
It was literally like in a suitcase on a beach. Like, it wasn't. It completely stunned people. But then, like, this other girl who did it, like, again, I watched some videos on it. You don't know who's faking the funk, so you do have to kind of,
Well,
take it
if
with a
they're
grain of
that's what I'm
salt.
saying. Like that's what I hate about these
She
kind of
asked
things
it,
too, because like which ones are proven, which ones are not. Cases are proven, and then you already muddied the waters.
yes. So, like, there was these two guy YouTubers who got busted because they would always end up getting to these creepy, fucking scary places, and it ended up being it was all fucking bullshit for these two specific YouTubers. But there were people who genuinely put stuff up, who were just regular people who were like, I want to try this. Like, if me and you were just like, you know what, fuck it, let's see where it takes us, sort of stuff. So there's both sides of the spectrum. Like, one girl was just like, she was a couple of her friends, and they were like, oh, let's fucking do it. And they wanted to see a doll in the woods. And it gave them the thing, and it led them to this creepy fucking place in the middle of some woods that was like 3 hours away from them. Like, they trekked to go to this place. Like, sometimes it gives you some place like around you, and sometimes it tells you to, like, go to a far place as well. So there's no, like, saying, oh, within 15 miles. Like, it just gives you a place. And it brought her to a creepy bunch of fucking dolls in the middle of the fucking woods somewhere. And, she was fucking, like, stunned. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, a lot of wild ass things to think about though. And
Right?
I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, what's most likely true is probably the right thing, but never let facts get in the way of a good story.
Yeah.
No,
She just
true
got
shit.
a really good bag of stuff that night, you know?
I know it's so good. Shit, I lost it even. God damn it! What did I put in my pocket? Oh wait, it's in my
Oh
pocket.
no,
Oh, we're good.
who is Ted's Terror Tales? I have not heard of that.
Oh, hang on, since I don't know, I have not. I gotta write that down.
No, I don't know
Yes.
Ted's
I'm gonna
territory.
go check that out later. Actually, maybe it might be fun.
Right?
I get a lot of random stuff like that pop up in my feed if I watch the WoW files. There, I'll get a whole bunch of
Yep.
random like.
Yes.
I'm trying to find a pen, but yeah, I mean, and there's some other stuff we could talk about, like, cause I mean, like I said, the WoW files alone, he comes up with some stuff to talk about. Did one the other, I know we're trying to close it down, but he did one recently. And he's doing like these new things, Dana. I'm sure you've seen it where they're like more short versions, like a Reader's Digest sort of version video. And he's like, if you would like to know more, let me know, and I'll do a bigger video on the topic. And he did one on sort of like shadow beings. And guess what one of them was? Because he said he felt like he had one at one point in his life, an experience, which he doesn't believe is a real experience. He just said he had this weird experience. And it was kind of like the boo hags that, I talked about when we did From and stuff. And how, I guess, people are trying to recreate this ritual. And he talked about these different rituals. And guess what one of the rituals was that he talked about? The elevator one that we had in Evil.
Oh. I've seen that pop up in a few things since then.
Mm-hmm.
That elevator game.
But that one is connected to sort of like the vibe of people doing these rituals and them sort of having the same steps. And then he was talking about how there's these shadow beings that will plague you, and they essentially plague you. They feed on your fear. And once they're attached to you, they're sort of attached to you till they're done with you, similar to how a boo hag and stuff kind of, or, was a creature that comes to you for, while you're sleeping, gets on top of you, is sort of what a nightmare is. The mayor's on you and you're kind of going through that experience, and they're essentially kind of feeding off of you during that time, and they'll come back to you time and time again until they're kind of moved on to a next victim. And that's kind of what these rituals are kind of embodying. Like, these things follow you after, because remember they said if you didn't do the ritual right, it follows you, right? Same thing with the one that he talked about. So ritual simple in a sense that you have to wait till, I think it was like 3 a.m. or something like that. It's the witching hour is what they were saying. And then of course you have to sort of, I forget the full steps to it, but it had a candle involvement. You're asking for something, and then you have to wait till a certain time period, and then you have to have like all the lights off, of course, and you knock on the door 3 times. Of course, the 3 is one of the things that we see apparently in these rituals a lot of times. And when you knock on the door 3 times, apparently it creates this shadow creature will eventually appear in the room. Like, it's a slow, like, everybody reported different things. Some people said it was sort of a slow, gradual process. Eventually the room got really cold, the candle went out, and this entity sort of formed in front of them, but sort of like absorbing the light around it. It was weird the way that they told the stories. And that this ritual that people, like college kids, are now, because of course somebody finds some ritual that was done from who God knows when. They put it on, social media. It picks up in college campuses, whatever, and all these kids are trying this stuff out. And it kind of picks back up its popularity and what it was originally, which was to torture people. And they would literally, the entity would come to you and you would have to survive until daytime. Like, you couldn't leave the room. Like, you had to endure it. Otherwise it followed you forever and it'd possibly kill you. So, and it would feed off your fear. So it would basically cause you to hallucinate. So for hours, whatever your fear was, if it was drowning, it would constantly cause that to just reoccur and reoccur. It would be more intense and more intense, similar to a nightmare, right? So that one was I liked watching that one because it actually talked about a few things that we've talked about in some of the shows and just some of the fun things that we talk about anyways. So I actually am going to get into that one a little bit because those rituals are things that we've seen in other TV shows. And that is sort of a pattern I've seen. And sort of like, remember back in the day when they used to do the one where you had to send it to everybody, like you got it sent and said, hey, if you don't send this to so many people, then it's like the chain bullshit little message things from back in the day. It was like threatening you'd have bad luck or something like that. So everybody would send it. and but it was probably originated from something that people used to actually have some sort of belief in, whether it was a real supernatural occurrence or not. It came from like some real, wild ass belief system from back in the day. That's people kind of now, we're still to this day doing these things without even realizing what the meaning behind them is. I know I rambled, but it was a wild ass episode, Dana, in chat, and James. Not that it means anything, but it was just wild.
I love that stuff. I love it. I could talk about this
shadow
stuff
creature,
for like ever.
Don't invoke the shadow creatures.
Yes, but I think we might have to do Friday Night Fever. Let's get James to debunk stuff, see how he could debunk stuff.
Well, maybe not for this Friday night, but definitely we'll try to work it in for next week. Hopefully everything will get fixed around here. I'll deal with stupid shit.
Who can stump James?
Oh, it'll be easy. Probably.
Well, no, because we got to be fair to James. We got to at least let him know what we're going to be talking about, so he has time to like, otherwise it's, that's not fair to James.
And the burden of belief is really on everybody, and nobody can really come through. So we're still in that arena of you can't prove it, I can't prove it a lot of times, so it's
But I would like for you to, at least if we're going to talk about like some random ass topic like that, it's not fair for you to just be like on the spot, well, James, what do you think about the theory of and you're just like, well, I mean, I haven't really looked into it much, but I guess based off what you told, give you at least a little bit of, we'll figure out the first topic maybe, and then we'll give James a little bit of time, make sure he probably don't need much time. He's actually really smart. To be fair, you said a lot of shit that I was like, okay, well, no, he knows what the fuck he's talking about. I can't bullshit my way through this conversation.
No, you can't. But before we close it out, I'll ask you one final question. If there was one thing that we did discover tomorrow was actually real, that would kind of, well, let's say scare you a bit, that you'd be like, holy fuck, what would it be? Would it be aliens? Would it be a monster? Would it be, anything you could think of? What that, lays in the realm of otherworldly, so to speak, or magical? What would you want to find out is real?
Or want to be real?
Yeah, that you wouldn't want to be real.
That's a hard one. There's so many, Dana. That's
I would tell you mine would be fucking Freddy Krueger, because I am so scared and terrified of him that even though I know he's not real or whatever, if you told me tomorrow that he is real, I probably would just keel over from fear.
Okay. They are technically real, but they're not real to the extent they were in this movie. But the Bay, those little creepy bug crustacean thingies in the water, those parasites.
Oh, yes.
If we ever get to that level of fuckery, I'm out. Peace. I'm going to New Planet. That's some alien-like shit. That one was fucked up. But it is kind of real. I don't think I played fair, because mine's not quite like what you're asking for. Mine's sci-fi.
But it's still there. What about you, James? There's one thing that would horrify you if you found out it was real. What would it be?
Darth Vader.
No, he's real. I spoke to him today. If you go back and watch my stream that YouTube decided to tell me is fucking blocked in 2 countries and can't be copyrighted because of the music in Fortnite. Texas Mofo, if you're listening, and I did mark my stream as game, and I marked it with Fortnite, and it still told me to go fuck off. But I did still AI Vader, and I spoke to him a couple times today. He's real.
Nice.
As real as AI can make him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if any crazy ass monster was real, it'd be pretty crazy to me. I mean, ghost spirits,
Right.
monsters of any kind, something otherworldly or other from another dimension or something.
Are you
There's a
out at
lot.
that point, James? You're like,
Ooh,
I'm
like the
out.
mist.
We're
Like the
leaving.
mist.
Yeah,
Pack it up.
I don't know. It would just have to be the circumstance, I guess. I would try to adapt, and survive. But the thing is,
Oh
if you
shit, he's going for the sage.
if you suddenly break physics, to me would be, whatever it is, just the fact that physics is now broken and you can defy that shit and it doesn't matter. That in
Right.
itself would probably scare me more than whatever it is on the other side.
Well, to me, like, even if we were talking about mythological creatures, not all of them, but just in a general sense, I mean, it's not unreasonable to think that a version of that could exist in nature, but not the way we have fantasized it.
Yeah.
Like, some sort of evolution, or even like, again, something that we haven't explained yet in physics, something we haven't discovered in physics.
Dun, dun, dun.
That I don't even fucking know how I'm going to even explain it now. I don't know, like ghosts. Ghosts aren't necessarily ghosts. Maybe they're like memory energy or some shit, and we just happen to pick up on it every now and again. Not so much like it's a real embodiment, but maybe like psychic energy to a degree is something. Not that it is. I'm not saying that. But it's the only thing the only word I can think of to describe it.
Like
Damn
some
it.
form of
I
a
don't
remnant.
have vocabulary, people. That's James's department.
I don't know about that.
I know he's like, I ain't touching that shit. I don't know where she's going. But no, I don't know.
Well,
There's some
if
way
we're going to
explain
then really
some of the
believe in
things.
science, then James, if there's a multiverse, then doesn't that mean that there is a universe out there where ghosts do exist, where aliens do exist? If we're supposed to be in the quantum realm of the multiverse, and maybe
I guess if you believe, first, if you believe in multiverses, which I'm not really a believer of, but if it was real,
Damn it.
I guess if you want to go there and say, let's get past are they real or not? Okay, they're real. It does open up the opportunity for different physics to be in different universes, kinda, but it depends on how you're describing multi-universes, because some people have different ways of looking at it and how that works. For example, Dark Matter, I think it was called. It was a TV show. I don't know if y'all watched it.
Was
but
that it wasn't from our country, right?
Yeah, it was. I forget the actors in it, but the guy built a box that he could go into and go pretty much anywhere.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
I'm thinking of that time travel show that was like dark, sorry.
right. Yeah, this is different. But it's on a quantum level. But the way they looked at it is, every time I go through this little box and go through a different door, that universe is created because of the choice I made. So in theory, you could only create another universe that has the same physics as the one we have in that sense. So there shouldn't be any fantastical stuff, just because a new universe is being created by a choice you made. And that's how some people look at it. But if there are multiple universes, just for different other reasons that are not created by everybody's choice, you could have other physics possible, ghosts or spirits or magic.
Okay.
Yeah, Jennifer Connelly, man, I like Jennifer Connelly.
I heard about that show. I did hear about that show. I just have not. I think I saw the very first episode. I don't know but I do know the show of what you're speaking of now. Yes,
Yeah.
where the guy who goes to, because I think in the universe he was going to, his wife was alive.
Yeah,
she didn't die or something like
yeah,
that.
it's pretty twisted. It's hard to keep up with a little bit, the science of it, for sure, because they kind of twist it around a little more crazy than it already is, just for the show.
But it's fun to think about. I love thinking about all this stuff, because it's just, you know
And
You never know.
one thing, for an example, why do I not think universes are created when you make a choice, a different one? And a lot of that goes back to the principle that you can't create new matter out of nothing. Just poof, there's a whole new universe from nothing, as far as the way the theory kind of plays out. So to me, a lot of that breaks down in the initial, well, what is it and how does it work versus any of the rest of it. It kind of breaks down early on. But a lot of this stuff, excuse me, just real quick before we close, a lot of stuff in science, the way they explain stuff is just the way they can explain it. It doesn't mean that's exactly how it is. That's just the best way we know to explain that. Even when we like draw an atom on paper, that may not be exactly how an atom really looks. It's just the best way we can kind of explain it right now, drawing it, kind of thing. So a lot of science is just not fully understood and maybe not explained as well as it could be, just because of the way they choose to explain it. But I think it'd be fun to talk about conspiracies and stuff, like you guys say. Try to get together one time and maybe go through a few.
Definitely. Look, we started talking about the shithole that was The Last of Us, and we ended off talking about fun conspiracy theories that started from zombies. Where else could you hear a conversation as, diverse?
Yeah. I appreciate everybody in the chat. I mean, I know we all don't see it the same way, but it's fun seeing other people's perspectives and stuff. So I love that aspect, and I don't mean to offend anyone by saying anything. Just I like talking about it too.
No, I appreciate when things, especially when like you sit down and like I just enjoy watching like the Nukes Top 5. There's a couple of like other people who just gather the ghost videos on the internet and seeing like, could that be possibly real? Oh no, I see how they would have debunked that and done certain stuff, because you have to think about that. Oh, a chair flies through the room. Oh yeah, there's a million ways you could explain that straight. Like there are certain things where but you come across the one video every so often where you're just like,
yeah,
that's a little creepy.
yeah,
It's not your typical like, okay, no strings, no stuff. Like, yeah, that okay. You got me with that one. And those are the videos I love to like find. You have to get through like a bunch of the ones that you're like, oh yeah, I could see how they could fucking fake that or do that or whatever. It's the internet. People are going to do that all the time.
oh
But
yeah,
like I said, you come across that one gem that just still friggin' like makes you think like, how
yeah, for sure.
like it was. So I'll care. We'll get it together. We'll try to find videos, and if you guys in the chat leave in the discords any videos you want us to check out, any videos like creepy stuff you want to talk about, because that'll also help Scarlet gather some stuff for when we talk about it, like on the creepy Friday night show when she wants to do it. We'll have at least some stuff. So anything you guys want to drop in the discords for creepy stuff you want us to watch and James to debunk, feel free. Feel free to add it.
But at least, if nothing else, to at least get, to see the perspectives of what it could be.
Yeah. Get people's thoughts in the chat.
And I do actually welcome James, because actually a lot of stuff you said, I'm like, okay, now he knows what he's talking about. I appreciate that, because you actually understand, so you help with stupidity that we can't come up with terms and remember.
No. It's and that's the thing. I talk to my sister. She's a school teacher, and I talk to her about it sometimes. How do you, like, I don't want to like sound like, oh, I know it all, that kind of thing. How do you?
No, you don't. You sound intelligence that I appreciate.
How do you have the discussion without pissing the other person off? Because I have done that in the past. And it's like, how do I got to be nicer about it, not try to destroy somebody's worldview right out of the
no,
gate
I
or something.
please
You know?
do, because then I want to know the truth. So I'm like, yeah, well, you
Yeah.
know what? Makes
Because
sense. I
because a
don't
lot
even
of
argue with
As a
logic.
as a Wiccan, of course I believe in magic. I believe in certain stuff, but I'm also not gullible. And if something's really disproven, I'm not going to sit there and be like trying to disprove your disprove. Like there is shit that you could clearly tell is fake, whatever, stuff like that. But it doesn't change the fact that I still believe certain things could possibly exist.
right.
I'll just move on to the next thing. Like you don't, it doesn't hurt my feelings when something I'm like, oh, could that be creepy if that's real? You're like, oh, Dana, come on, you don't see the friggin' thing up there or thing in the corner or something. I'm like, oh man, okay, all right, okay. We'll move on to the next one. But like, it's fun for me. I love it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love it.
yeah. It's fun. It's fun.
Because I bug the shit out of Miguel all the time. Because I do that. Like I'll nitpick at stuff. Like when he's trying to tell me about certain stuff, I'll be like, that sounds a little unplausible. Like what? But when he started showing me this shit about the ice wall, I was like, this actually seems kind of cool. If it were
Hey,
fucking like
hey, I mean,
real.
I
Like
give it to a lot of the people that are talking about it and have channels and things like that because they're doing it pretty good. Because not only are we interested in it, they do it in a way that people go, maybe, and just help keep it going. And now that's cool, I mean, because a lot of stuff we'll just never know. I mean, we'll just never know the answer. So, we'll always be, no, it's this, no, it's this.
Yep. But you could
Right?
go down rabbit holes with this stuff all the time, and that's what makes it fun.
Right,
That's
Pan?
what
What I
makes it
know
fun.
is I know nothing. Pretty much. Shut up. Look, my kid's hungry, okay? Look, it's summer. We're essentially on a schedule where morning no longer exists. And we're up.
Oh.
Afternoon is morning. This is like dinner time.
It's,
All right, schedule's fucked
it's
right now. All
okay.
right, people, I'm sorry. My house is all like crazy right now. My couch is on one side. I can't even get to my balcony. People can't fix an AC to save goddamn life.
It happens. It happens. It
I
happens. That's
gotta
why I
empty
kept
the
muting
bucket,
myself before.
Dana. I empty the bucket. I can't leave the house because you fucking AC can't just be left because goddamn it, it'll overflow. It's a piece of shit.
It's
You didn't have
just
your rock hanging on the door, did you?
What the fuck? I don't know what
your
the fuck.
talisman.
Don't you fucking go
No.
there. That has nothing to do with shit.
Oh,
There's no monsters
it
here.
has
There's no fallen tree.
everything.
No,
It
that's
has
Right?
bullshit.
everything to do with
Scarlet,
it.
hang your
That's not
talisman.
even how.
You must hang your
That's not
talisman.
even how the fucking magic works. You can't just say the talisman. That's not even what the fucking talisman. Don't gonna make me get in trouble. It's late. My husband is sleeping. I know. It's first world problems. Exactly. Look, man. Would you ask about my microwave? I'm just saying, man. It is what it is.
Right?
We don't
What
have
did
a
she
schedule
make a
right
hot
now.
pocket? She make
I
a
don't
hot
even
pocket, didn't
know.
she?
I have no idea what she made.
Right? It's
Yeah,
munchy time stuff. It's about that time of night.
maybe
I
for you to know,
already
she
went.
just this is literally like it's basically dinner time.
I have a bag of chips sitting right next to me that are about to be devoured once we get off stream. I have onion rings just staring at me. They're
Ooh.
looking at me like, "Ooh, eat me now.
Look,
I'm
I
nice
wouldn't
and
complain
tasty
about
and
the AC
oniony."
either if we weren't paying, paying money for stuff. I'm a big believer you pay for something, get what you pay for. Otherwise, shit out of here.
Yeah,
Tell
yeah.
my father that.
Yeah.
Tell my father that.
Knock a little
I
off
know the joke if
Yeah.
I know where you're going with that. And actually, you know what? No, I don't. Do you like fish sticks? Pan? Are you into fish sticks?
Wait, real fish sticks? I love
Right?
Gordon's fish sticks.
Have you watched the South Park episode, Dana?
No.
Did you put? Oh shit! Did you not hear the way I said it, Dana?
Oh, I'm really stoned, Scarlet. I barely know I just heard fish sticks, and I have the munchies.
I don't
And
know if Pan
I
was
have
going there or not, but I didn't know. I hope if you're going that joke direction, I'm aware of the joke. If not, then
I'm not, but I still like fish
because
sticks.
Pan says I love them, so now I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe. I don't know. I haven't had fish. We don't. Damn it.
James, would you like to read that?
No, not at all. Somebody will cut it out and use it against me.
All right, see, that's how you know it's late and I'm smoking too much and I need to go. Because my first thinking was fucking South Park when you said you talked about fish sticks in the chat. Yeah.
Listen, you got me at the high moment of the stream.
Well, no, actually, you were fine, Dana. I fucked it up, actually. You were wholesome. I totally fucked it all up because I was
Gutter brain Scarlet.
I can't even fucking deny that one. That was
sticks.
totally funny. Yeah, I fucked that one up. All right, well, yeah, it is what it is. So you can do. Yes, South Park, Kanye. Yes. He's was a lyrical master of a generation or something like that.
Oh, I can't. I can't. I have to remember to pace myself on this pen. This pen is deadly.
What's bad, Dana, is you didn't do anything wrong. You're just saying that, but you technically he wasn't. They weren't talking about. Yeah, I don't think he actually. And now I don't know. But I may shit. We need to end this shit, Dana. I'm too fucked up for this. I don't know. I don't know if I diverted a joke or if I caused a joke that now I'm some Twilight Zone episode shit we're creating here.
Oh, you stepped in the joke. You stepped in both feet.
Right? We're in the Matrix.
But it is funny joke though.
There's a glitch in the Matrix.
No, I just fucked it all up. That's all it is. I just did a do best, buddied up the waters and fucked it all up.
Right? As long as you don't make me watch any more Mandela effects, I don't care. As
long as you don't make me watch any more Last of Us, we're good.
Okay.
I blame it on that. I'm completely retarded now because I watched The Last of Us season 2.
I know it rotted our brain. That is how many 7 hours of life we won't get back. Well, James speed watching 48 minutes.
I don't know. You got to count you probably got to count the 3 or 4 hours we spent talking about it too after the fact. So we spent, a lot of time on this show.
Right? You had to take screenshots, Dana. I mean, shit.
I know, and horrible screenshots at that because everything was so fucking dark half the time. I couldn't fucking take decent fucking screenshots and nothing. And I'm not as good as you, Scarlet. Scarlet be getting the stuff, and I'll even slowing shit down. I'm like, oh, fuck, I missed it. Gotta go back. Oh, I missed it. I gotta go back.
Okay, we have clarity. Yes. All right. So you are. All right. Good. I ain't fucking crazy then. Because I'm like, hey. All right. We're good. Actually, you know what? We're just moving on.
Okay. No, but thank you everybody so much for hanging out with us tonight. We've been yakking and yakking and yakking and ranting and laughing and
it's Friday, people. Woo!
Oh yes, are we officially in Friday now? Yes.
The weekend.
We are.
The weekend starts early.
Right, we'll get there. But yes, thank you everybody for hanging out with us. And like I said, Thursdays we'll be talking about Dead City for the rest of the season, and then Saturday nights we're going to start doing some more D&D stuff. Scarlett's going to be gaming. James is going to be making his videos. And that's
and
life
who knows what
else
will happen and come wherever we can get to. We'll see. Because I still want to do some other stuff. We'll figure it out. We'll get there.
But until next time, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us. And just remember to stay safe and stay out of trouble. Again.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.